Good morning everyone. How are you all? कैसा रहा प्रीलिम्स का एक्सपीरियंस? सब प्रीलिम्स वाले बैठे हैं ना जिन्होंने प्रीलिम्स क्वालिफाई किया है? ऐसा कोई मतलब इट्स नॉट अ क्राइम टू फॉर अदर पीपल टू सिट, बाकी लोग भी अटेंड कर सकते हैं. सो एनीबडी अवेयर ऑफ पटनायक सर्स प्रोफाइल? मेल आया होगा, थोड़ा बहुत कुछ तो पढ़ा होगा. OPSC. He is an ex-chairman of Odisha Public Service Commission. Actually, ex-chairman is a wrong term. We always call it former chairman, and former president of Staff Selection Commission Board. So when sir will come, I'll do a brief profiling. Basically, I don't think any emphasis needs to be made on the role of personality and all. So I'll just start once sir come. I'll give you the profile of sir, and accordingly you can ask your questions. Try to limit your question to the related to personality only. Okay, interview basically. Sir has an experience of taking more than 40,000 interviews, so you will get a very good idea like what the people ask and what is their mindset while asking. One more thing, I think this will be one of the rarest opportunities where you'll get to question someone who is going to question you when you will go for the interview. You know, so ask whatever is in your mind, but it's a request to please stand up before asking your questions, because there is a very highly decorated, and a highly designated person. So just raise your hand. We will pass on the mic to you. Stand up and ask your questions. Rest of the thing is the session is going to be very interactive. Okay, so whatever questions you have, you can ask. Doesn't matter how minute or simple question, because those who are giving interview, who will be giving interview for the first time, yeah, they might have a very basic question also. Sir, should I wear a tie or not? Should I sit straight or not? Should I keep my hands stable or should I move my hands or not? You know, everybody has their own opinion, and you are also entitled to your opinion. But you can ask sir about these things also. Okay, students even ask about what should be what kind of hairstyle should I do on that particular day. That will be like a D-day for you, right? Okay. And what about like how many of you are expecting that we are definitely going to appear for the interview? Any of the foundation students sitting here? Vision IAS Foundation? अरे वाह, I'm feeling very proud. काफ़ी बच्चे हैं हमारे. You all must be aware of the score of interviews. How much is the personality test? 275. What is the highest score ever received, or the highest score of last year? 217. Name of the person? Apala Mishra. Very good. And you might also be aware that they won't give you marks less than 100. Right? And what will be the point that you will get a higher marks, or that won't be dependent on the questions they are asking or the answers you are giving. You see, it will be about your delivery, and if you don't know, that's totally fine. Okay, there are many people, because they don't judge on that point कि okay मैंने ये question पूछा, इसको ये question नहीं आता, नहीं इसका तो नहीं हो सकता. ऐसा कभी भी नहीं होता. Even if they ask you 10 questions and you don't know 6 out of them, you might qualify. So do not baffle yourself over that. No matter how many marks you have given, and there also it might happen. And also one more suggestion, get your DAF analysis beforehand, get it done. You know, because in DAF analysis, what they do, they'll take your DAF, make question from every single point of DAF. Okay, whatever probable question they can ask from you, they list out those questions. Okay, you can write them down, prepare answers for that. So in that, I won't say that exact question will be covered, but majority aspect, like the dimension, whatever they're going to ask, okay, that will be covered. And later on, also be very careful in how many mocks you're going to take. Some people, I have seen students who take I have taken 25 or 30 mocks. Some say I have taken only 2 mocks. Yeah, don't do that. Always be balanced in your approach in everything. So just a balance, 7-8 mocks if you feel like I'm getting very varied feedback. Feedback will never be same. अलग-अलग तरह का feedback भी आ रहा है, तो उसको भी keep in your mind कि मुझे इस फीडबैक को अपने साथ कैसे अकोमोडेट करना है, जो कॉमन फीडबैक है. एक एक्स इंस्टीट्यूट में दे दिया मॉक, एक वाई में दे दिया, एक जी में दे दिया, एक ए में दे दिया, सब ने 7-8 फीडबैक दे दिए. सबके 2 कॉमन फीडबैक्स हैं. वर्क ऑन देम फॉर श्योर, बिकॉज if 5 people in 4 institutes, 20 people are forming one opinion about you, for you, that means that is true. So try to work upon that, and if it's a strength, let's have a huge round of applause for LC Patnaik sir. If it's a strength, play on your strengths also. It's not only about weakness, working out your weaknesses. Obviously, you have to work on your weakness. You also have to play on your strength. So, जो चीज़ अच्छी है उसको और अच्छा करो, जो बुरी है उसको थोड़ा सा improve करने की कोशिश करो. So now I'll do a brief profile of Patnaik sir, and then we will start with the session. So Dr. LC Patnaik, former chairman of Odisha Public Service Commission and Service Selection Board of India. Sir has a varied experience in defense, civil services, diplomacy, constitutional responsibilities, and academics. He has combat experience in Siachen Glacier, world's highest and coldest battlefield, Kashmir, and Indo-China border. He has served as India's defense advisor in the Middle East with concurrent responsibilities to monitor Iran's nuclear program and the conflict in Afghanistan. He has served in the United Nations and involved in training of foreign defense services. He has contributed immensely in the field of selection of civil servants in the country and in Odisha. As the longest serving chairman of Odisha Public Service Commission, Sir brought in radical changes in the examination scheme and overall selection system. He has, to his credit, conduct of approx 40,000 interviews for civil services, defense forces, and corporate world. His academic qualifications include PhD in International Strategy from Allahabad University and Masters in Psychology, a Masters in International Relations, Masters in Management and Defense Sciences. He is an adjunct professor and advisor in many Indian and foreign universities. Sir is also widely traveled and a keen golfer. So let's have a huge round of applause for Patnaik, sir.
Okay, good morning to all of you. How are you? Excellent. Firstly, let me compliment. I was told that you all have cleared the prelims. All? Or you're about to appear for this? Okay. And, well, I think there are people online who have, most of them have cleared the prelims and on the way to, or rather, appear for the mains, and the results also out. Results are not yet, they're waiting for the results to come. So today, essentially, it's an interactive session in which I will share thought process as to what involves this particular personality test and how should you go about preparing for this personality test per se. First and foremost is that this test, the civil services test, consists of a 3-stage test, as you all aware of it. First is the preliminary test, which is essentially a screening test. Second is a mains, which consists of about 7+2 subjects, and then followed by a personality test. Candidates who qualify in prelims, shortlisted, are then called to appear for the mains, and again after the mains, then they move on to the personality test. So this is a gradual movement. It's not that somebody from prelims can go into personality or somebody will bypass mains and elsewhere. No, you have to move sequentially. And the results or the merit list is an outcome of your performance in the main written test plus the interview. That's called the personality test. Are you with me so far? Yes or no? Okay. Now, when the main results come out, the difference in marks of the candidates who actually qualify in mains are in marginal terms. That is to say, the person who gets the lowest and the person who gets the highest, sometimes the range may not be even more than 100. It is usually between 1 or 2 marks, 5 marks difference for the people who qualify. There may be certain candidates of the general category who have been, from the reserved category, who would have been taken up, where the marks should have been low, but I'm not including that. I'm including on an average. So it may so happen that the competition with whom you are, that person has got a very marginal difference of maybe 5 to 10, 15 marks as far as the mains are concerned. Now, when it comes to interview, the personality test, this consists of full 275 marks. And where, if you enhance your capability, enhance your personality to meet the requirement of the interview or the personality test per se, what you call, or the interview in common terms, you can get marks as high as 240, 250 out of 275. And if you don't perform well, you can get as low as 30 and 40 also. So the needle of getting low marks and getting high marks in an interview ranges something about 150 to 200 marks on an average. So for some reason, although you are selected in the mains, you've been shortlisted in the mains, and if you have not put adequate attention to develop your personality over a period of time, you may lose the ultimate race by only few marks, not because of the fault of the system, is because you have not cared to identify what the requirement of the personality test is and work upon it. So today here we are sitting primarily to see what is it that they look for as far as assessment of the personalities is concerned, wherein you have the capability, or you can develop the competence to reach to a level of 200 plus or minus this thing, and should you not do that, then you may land up even in 50, 60. So would you like to take that risk where you want to lose 100 or 100 plus marks in the overall merit list because you haven't taken care to improve your personality? Do you want that? Yes or no? No, sir. Big no? Yes, sir. The no is not coming. Tell me little big no, yes or big no? Yes, sir. Somebody say yes, somebody say no. It should be no. Okay, as long as you understand the overall dynamics of it. Normally the human tendency is this, that if somehow or the other I clear the main and I get adequate amount of knowledge base, then I have to work only marginally, okay, to clear myself in the interview. And because of the thought process, many people start their process of preparation for the personality test only after the results of the mains are declared. Since the time gap from the time the results come out till the first interview starts is so less, sometimes to the tune of a month and a half or two, that's a very less time for you to develop any identifiable personality deficiency that you have over a period of time. So it's very necessary that this issue of your personality gets the right amount of attention at an early stage of your preparation, so that you are able to identify your strengths and weaknesses and work upon it, possibly under coaching, possibly under guidance or self-improvement. Now, this is one of the most difficult tasks. If I ask a person to tell as to what are your strengths or what are your deficiencies, one of the most difficult tasks for a human being is this, that it's very difficult to find out your own strengths and weaknesses. Because usually we are very confident of our strengths and very shy of our weaknesses. And as a result, we bring in a mental state to ourselves in which we create a sort of a thought process that this is a very low priority for me. And hence, I will tackle it as and when it comes. And there is a natural tendency to delay this particular process. And that is what we are going to address it today. Usually, the process of selecting administrators of the country through UPSC is such that we do put a lot of emphasis on the academic excellence of an individual. And this academic excellence, which is spread over a variety of subjects, firstly through prelims and secondly through mains, is a time-tested thing and well-tested. But that is a knowledge, a part of it. That's the knowledge part of it. Don't be so serious, say smiling, okay? That's the knowledge part of it. But the job profile entails that you're going to be public servants, part of the public service per se. And that means that your interactive process is going to be more with the public. You are required to execute projects. You are required to make policy issues. You are required to plan issues. You are required to work in an environment for upgradation of social justice. You are supposed to work towards removal of poverty, take the nation towards development, be sensitive on issues of climate and disasters, exercise financial prudence, and on top of all, be prepared to undertake crisis management if at all there is there in the administration per se. Now, all these things is very difficult for us when to see as far as the written test is concerned. So that is why we bring you to the third level, that's of the personality test. The challenge before us in the interview board is that how we actually can find out all the so-called desirable qualities that you require in an administrator in such a short possible time. Hence, we use some tools sometimes to find out, or by and large, it gets into a formative or a summative assessment of what a person has spoken and how we listen to it, how we receive it, and then at the end of the day, we convert that our impression into something called marks. Because at the end of the day, we are going to give you marks, assess you. So it's an assessment which gets converted from an subjectivity to an objectivity. This art of the interview board is one of the most complex ones, for which if you have exhibited the right amount of quality which the interview board has been wanting to know, wanting to find out, then apparently you've been able to give more amount of subjective inputs to enable the interview board to convert that into objectivity. So such a large, such an important task, that what you say is going to be conveyed to a board who is going to listen to you and then give you a mark. It's not a very simple task that you can people think of. A lot of people go on the misguided advice that don't worry, it's essentially a knowledge base where they keep asking you about various issues, number one. Number two, they will ask you certain crisis management issue. Third, they will put you some adverse situations and so and so. So, jo man mein hoga usko bol dena. Be natural to yourself. So, there are many standardized advices which comes to the people as far as preparation in advance is concerned. So, we are trying to see that when we have sufficient time, then what is the goal entail? How do we prepare for this particular goal, and how can we prepare ourselves? So first, वो goal क्या होता है? What are the things that are being looked for? some of the things which have been defined as far as the requirement of the UPSC is concerned are essentially, which has been given, your emotional intelligence, your mental alertness, third, your critical powers of assimilation, clear and logical exposition, balance of judgment, variety of depth of interest, and ability for social cohesion and leadership. And apparently last, your mental and moral integrity. Now, this large demand of an individual's personality at such a short possible time is something what the people are looking for. Now, how do you align yourself to present these particular personalities? I'll summarize all these 8-9 qualities into essentially only 3 qualities, okay, for you to understand it better so that you get a chance to develop. Apparently, if I tell you to develop emotional intelligence, you will not know about it. What is the thing like? But 3 factors, 3 qualities that you need to develop now so that you can exhibit it better. First is your effective communications. What is it? First, effective communication. And when I say effective communication, all it means is that I have to say something which is understood to the next person. Otherwise, I am just speaking. If I have not conveyed my thought process to the other person. And you must have realized that there are certain things which appeal to human beings. And what does it appeal to human beings? Anything which is symmetrical, anything which is logical, anything which is sequential, our brain tends to capture those elements faster than anything which is illogical. What appeals to human beings is something which is very logical, which is symmetrical, and which is sequential. Have you seen a flower? Why do you tend to love a flower? Because God has created in such a beautiful manner that it is symmetrical, it is soothing. If you've seen any good painting, good artist, or anything which is there, you will always find a lot of symmetry in that. Our body itself is a symmetry. We have 2 hands, 2 legs, and so on and so forth. Shoulders square, straight. There is some sort of a symmetry. Without symmetry, there is no balance in life. Similarly, if you don't have a symmetry of thoughts, there is no balance in your mind also. The whole universe is actually built upon symmetry. And that is why the famous formula of the theory of relativity, which has been found out by Einstein, actually premises on the fact of symmetry and asymmetry. Coming back to what we are actually looking for is that, so when you speak to somebody and somebody is hearing you, what appeals is whether this person is speaking in a logical manner or not. Whether he is able to speak in a sequential manner or not. Okay, whether he is able to speak with his clarity or not. Because they are all interrelated. You cannot be conveying a very clear message to a listener without being logical in your thought process. You cannot be logical in your thought process in your presentation if you don't put it in proper sequence per se. any movies that you see, any essay that you write, okay, anything that you see at the end of the day and you come back is written or well seen, will always follow a particular sequence. Like a Hindi movie, it will have a starting, it will have a middle, and it will have an end, the end. देखा है ना पिक्चर में, हिंदी पिक्चर, जस्ट टू टेल यू ये खत्म हो गया और ज़्यादा मत सोचो. ओके. सिमिलरली एसे राइटिंग के अंदर भी वही फॉर्मेट होता है कि एक बिगिनिंग होता है, एक मिडिल होता है, एक एंड होता है. पीपल, आई हैव सीन thousands and thousands of essays being written by candidates, and let me tell you, they're all distinctly different, although all of us know that it has to be written in sequence. एक इंट्रोडक्शन होना चाहिए, एक मिडिल होना चाहिए और एक एंड होना चाहिए. So when it comes down to presentation, whether in terms of writing or in terms of speaking, such basic rudimentary aspects of life are forgotten and we make ourselves very difficult. I have read n number of essays which I can't make out anything at the end of the day. It's not that there is not amount of good material in that. Material is plenty. But at the end of the day, what we can absorb is very, very less. Similarly, in the interview board, we find a lot of candidates very intelligent, with lot of knowledge. But when they convey certain things to us, many times we can't even understand as to what he's talking. Because he's not developed that cognitive capability to understand, listen to a particular problem and give out his answers in a very sequential manner. This is one of the most important aspect of mine. And through a logical answer, we also make deductions about a person's personality, that whether if he is confronted with an issue or any problem, whether he is able to think logical or not logical, whether he can convey instructions in a very in matters of clarity, or he will confuse the matter. Through your simple answers that we ask you, we start making deductions that yes, here is a person who has got the capability that confronted with a problem or a situation, he has the capability to logically analyze that particular problem and come into solutions or come into decision making. Your decision making power is also highly linked to what you say. If you have a good decision making power, your conversation will always be very clear, unambiguous, and to the point. If not, what you say will be absolutely jumbled up and garbled up. And similarly, in the day-to-day life, I have seen experiences both in the defense, civil, and also in the corporate, where the decision makers, if they do not have this basic quality of an effective communications, I mark the word effective. Communication everybody does. If he doesn't have an effective communication, he fails to be a good leader. So since in the interview board, the tool that we have with us is that we'll ask you certain questions. And those questions are what? Firstly, we'll try to ask you those things that you know yourself first. And then we'll ask you those questions which we expect that you ought to know this. And also we'll ask you those questions which are of little higher analytical nature to find out your higher decision making power and crisis management per se. So in that context, having seen this, one big tool which is available to you to convey that you are highly logical, rational, and having a good thought process is your DAF. Is the form that you actually fill up, okay, prior to appearing for the interview board, which is about 4 to 5 pages, which is there, all of you have been told about you, this form. Now this form will be readily available to the interview board and across for your merit and so on and so forth. This becomes a basic document as far as the selection is concerned. You are aware of this? Yes or no? Now this is a very essential document. This is a very essential document in the sense we give the initiative to the candidate. Please write about yourself. आप खुद अपने बारे में लिखिए. Why it is essential is, this is the first document we glance. And then we start making mental impressions. You have to appreciate our, when I say our, there's a board's responsibility limitations. In a very short period of time, we have to find out as to who you are. So one of the first tools that we come across is this. Here, this particular form has got details of your father, that's your family details, your personal details, your addresses. It's got an educational background. Where all have you studied? It also has details of your co-curricular activities, your hobbies, and special achievements and contributions, if any. It also has details about your optionals and also the service that you want to join, whether you want to join IAS, IPS, IFS, in what order of preference it gives out. So when you walk in for the interview, we have done a mental mapping in ourselves saying that so-and-so person has got this social background, so-and-so person has got this educational background, this candidate has got these strengths and weaknesses in extracurricular activities, and what he wants to join in what order of preference, and also we know about your subjects of optionals, etc. Now why this is important is that this simple document I have seen being filled up in a very, very casual and irrational manner many times. So when you are here, I'm sure the instructors are going to tell you how exactly to fill this form in a very deliberate manner. Apparently, there will not be much of difficulty in writing your personal details of your address or, for that matter, your educational qualification. But even for educational qualification, where subjects are written, I find people don't write the subjects. They'll write 2 subjects or 3 subjects, leave the balance. They won't write the correct marks properly. Sometimes will write their CGPA, they will not convert to marks. They won't even write what percentage they've got. Sometimes they don't even write the institution which they pass out from. Now, when this is presented in front of us, this gives us a picture that a person is careless. Why? Because only one para with just about 3 columns, for which is devoted right from the time, that means for 20-25 years of your life, actually you are devoted to do this, whether you studied it in a school or a college or a university. If it's the entire time you've not been able to write this particular simple thing yourself in a very deliberate and a manner which is supposed to be written, obviously we feel that such a person is careless. We may be wrong. We may have written down under various circumstances. Jaldi mein tha, kuch tha, वॉट एवर इट मे बी, और समटाइम वांट टू रिकलेक्ट, या मेरा मार्क्स क्या था मुझे याद नहीं यार, ठीक है ना, पर जल्दी जल्दी में यार गलत क्यों लिखना, छोड़ दो उसको. देन यू स्टार्ट हैविंग बायसेस व्हाइल फिलिंग ऑफ द फॉर्म. यार क्या फर्क पड़ता है, हमको रिटन टेस्ट में जो क्लियर होगा वही तो हो जाएगा. फर्स्ट डिवीजन हो, सेकंड डिवीजन हो, थर्ड डिवीजन में क्या फ़र्क पड़ता है. अगर बाई चांस मैं सेकंड डिवीजन हूँ, मैं नहीं लिखता हूँ यार, कल इंप्रेशन खराब हो जाएगा. ओके, और आई विल नॉट राइट इफ आई स्टडीड इन सम बनस्थली इन सम विलेज, पीपल मे थिंक दैट ओके पॉसिबली मेरा मार्क्स नंबर नहीं मिलेंगे. सो students or candidates have got very, very definitive biases while filling up this their own particular space. Many people want to hide, many people want to exaggerate. Many people also write wrong things. सर कौन चेक करेगा यार, चल लिख दे 94% लिख देते हैं क्लास 12th में. कल पूछेगा अरे वाई 94, सर वो गलती से सर 74 था वो 94 हो गया. ये पीपल टेक चांस, निकल जाएगा तो निकल जाएगा. बोर्ड में किसका टाइम है, वहाँ पर इतने सारे बुढ़े लोग होते हैं, किसका टाइम है वहाँ पर चेक करने के लिए यार इसके साथ. बट नो, यू आर रॉन्ग, बिकॉज ईच एंड एवरी डॉक्यूमेंट, एवरीथिंग दैट यू साइन is cross-checked with the certificates before it's finally put. And it becomes very embarrassing for people when you ask that 94 के बदले 74 बदले तुमने क्यों 94 लिखा. And from the facial expression we knew that he or she was writing from a bias. Bias समझते हो ना, एक मेरी सोच है, एक सोच है, and that we call it complex. कि कल मैं 74 लिख दूंगा तो इंटरव्यू वाले क्या सोचेंगे, मेरे बगल वाला जो 90% है उसको ज़्यादा नंबर मिल जाएगा. So the first and foremost is that when you fill out the DAF form, remove that bias. Your originality starts from filling this particular form itself. For God's sake, for 20-25 years, what you have devoted yourself in education, write it down in the most explicit manner and the most understandable and comprehensive manner that you can ever think of. Lot of useless things are also written during in the educational format. आपको बताया गया है कि सिर्फ लिखो यूनिवर्सिटी सो एंड सो फलाना, वो लिखेंगे कि यूनिवर्सिटी वाज रिकॉग्नाइज्ड बाय सो एंड सो, इट हैज गॉट NAAC gradations, फलाना gradation, और I stood first in debate, I stood first in so and so. वो तो बाद में आएगा, बट यहाँ पर भी बंदे लिखते हैं. और I presented so, if you done a PhD, वो PhD का पूरे थीसिस वहाँ पर लिख देते हैं, जगह नहीं होता, छोटे छोटे अक्षरों में पूरा. वो शायद नंबर वो पर पढ़ेगा ना, शायद मुझे नंबर एक्स्ट्रा मिल जाएगा. मतलब पूरी कोशिश रहता है कि मैं जितना चाहता हूँ उसके अंदर ठोक दूँ कि कैसे जब से पहले यार मैं कल बोलूँ या ना बोलूँ, कम से कम इसमें से तो नंबर मिल जाएगा. कभी कभी ये बैकफायर हो जाता है. बैकफायर समझते हो ना. Sometime back I saw some Hindi movie. एक बंदा गोली मारता है, कुछ साउथ इंडियन मूवी, और दूसरा बंदा कुछ दिखा देता है, गोली घूम कर वापिस चला जाता है. आई थिंक तो सम रजनीकांत का पिक्चर था वो. ठीक है, आज वंडरिंग यार मैं जिंदगी में तो हमेशा मैं फायरिंग किया हूँ, आज तक ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि गोली दिखा दे वो गोली घूम कर वापस चला जाएगा. बट अगर आप ये गलत करोगे, ये गोली वापस घूम कर आपको चला जाएगा. ये असली बैकफायर यही है कि ये आपकी करतूत से और किसी का नहीं. दिस योर डूइंग. बिकॉज इसके लिए आपको कोई इंटरव्यू नहीं चल रहा है. गेटिंग माय पॉइंट. So you are conveying your persona, your personality, while you are actually filling this form. The next column, where usually people tend to do a lot of mistakes, is in the para 7, that is in the co-curricular activities, hobbies, etc. Now, there is a tendency that मैं जो कुछ जिंदगी में जीता हूँ, ठीक है, यहाँ तक कि स्कूल में कैरम खेल रहा था 8वीं क्लास में, वहाँ पर मैं सेकंड आ गया, Okay, stood second in the carom competition and so on so kar. Well, if you have not achieved anything other than this, please write that. But if you fill up your things with very small achievements, maybe you will lose bigger achievements. So answer is that start with your bigger achievements. और यहाँ पर भी कई कई सवाल का अंदर आता है, क्या मैं लिखूं या ना लिखूं, ये अचीवमेंट है या नहीं है. इफ आई वाज ए क्लास मॉनिटर, क्या मैं लिखूं और ना लिखूं, मैं डिबेट में फर्स्ट आया था, लिखूं या ना लिखूं. बट थोड़ा सा अगर सोचोगे कि व्हाट आर दोस क्वालिटीज which are required for the job that I'm looking for. I'm looking for a job of an administrator, isn't it? Public servant. Now, this job entails a leadership. So, if I have exhibited certain amount of leadership qualities during my school, college, or even in job that you are doing, please write it. Including some people who have, say for instance, if they've been doing jobs, and they have been asked to lead a particular project, there are a lot of candidates we get who are actually in part of the service, and they have assigned various jobs, projects, team leaders. आजकल प्राइवेट में जो है टीम लीडर होता है. And if your work has been appreciated, please write down in the shortest possible form that why you were appreciated and how you led that particular project by which you were appreciated. Because you are exhibiting your inner leadership qualities there. Similarly, if you have been the school captain of your school captain, or you have been a college president for that matter, or you led the college debating society, you led the college dramatic society, those are again leadership. Because why you are chosen and not other person. Everybody doesn't become a leader of a college, president of a college. Everybody doesn't become president of a debating society or a dramatic society. Is because you distinctly differed in some qualities as far as those domain areas are concerned. That is why you are chosen to become a leader. So inherently, you are now conveying to the board that yes, you have some inherent leadership qualities. I often come across questions from crowd of like you, sir, आप please बता दो ना सर, हमें क्या लिखना है, हम वही लिख देंगे. आपका इतना एक्सपीरियंस है, आप बता दो, हम वही लिख देंगे. नहीं, जो इनके लिए लागू है, क्या बेटा आपका नाम, व्हाट्स योर नेम? स्वीटी. जो स्वीटी के लिए लागू है, व्हाट्स योर नेम? एप्सत के लिए वो लागू नहीं होगा. अगर मैं आपको स्टैंडर्डाइज फॉर्मेट बता दूं तो शायद आप अपने अचीवमेंट को शायद डाउन कर लोगे, कुछ नहीं लिखोगे, और मैं जो बोला क्योंकि सर ने बोला इसलिए उसको लिख देता है. बट द आंसर टू व्हाट शुड आई राइट एंड व्हाट आई शुड नॉट राइट firstly lies in the fact that if those qualities of leadership, those qualities of public service, those qualities of social adjustments, those qualities which are looking for an administrator, if you have exhibited during the course of your growth of your life, whether in school, college, institutions, job, before you come to the interview board, write it in a more explicit and deliberate manner. Hobbies per se. People write singing in bracket BR. हमने उसको पूछा ये BR क्या होता है यार? वो कुछ नहीं बोल रहा था, शायद वो निकल जाएगा. बोलता सर बाथरूम. This is how people try to evade the system. कि सर मैं गाना तो नहीं गाता हूँ, मैं सिर्फ बाथरूम में, मगर बाथरूम लिख दूंगा शायद मेरे अगेंस्ट में चला जाएगा, तो उसको ब्रैकेट में लिख दो BR. ओके. Gardening, write down. Okay, they will write down roaming. Somebody wrote, I am roaming. अरे रोमिंग टहलना क्या होता है, हॉबी होता है क्या? मतलब रोमिंग क्या होता है? सर टहलना होता है. नहीं सर मुझे अच्छा लगता है टहलने के लिए. People make a distinct mistake in writing hobbies because when you can't identify as to what is your casual interest, then your hobby. Hobby is something which has got passion behind it. Hobby is something which you would like to pursue. Hobby is something which is something very dear to your heart. Yes, स्कूल कॉलेज में कई हॉबी क्लब्स होते हैं, फलाना होता है, वहाँ पर घुस जाओ, फलाना घुस जाओ, कभी कभी टाइम वेस्ट करने के लिए बंदे चले जाते हैं. आई रिमेंबर आई जॉइन एंगलिंग. एंगलिंग समझते हो ना? व्हेन आई वाज इन स्कूल, आई स्टडी इन ए मिलिट्री स्कूल. एंगलिंग होता है. एंगलिंग होता है कि मालूम है? मच्छी पकड़ना. एंगलिंग, एक एंगलिंग रॉड फेंकते हो, उसके नीचे से एक वो धागा आता है, एक कांटा लगता है उसके ऊपर, और मच्छी अगर उसके अंदर आ जाता है तो मच्छी को आप ऐसे उठा देते हो. दैट इज अ गुड पास टाइम, बिकॉज जो हॉबी मैं मांगता था उस हॉबी मुझे मिला नहीं. ओके, तो मैं इसको ज्वाइन कर लिया. नाउ आप उसको जाके वहाँ पर बैठे रहो, वो जो डंडा है उसको डालते रहो, मच्छी आएगा तो नहीं आएगा, क्या फर्क पड़ता है भाई. इंस्ट्रक्टर पूछेगा तुम क्या किया, मच्छी नहीं मिला. सर मच्छी आया ही नहीं. बट होल पर्पज आई वाज नॉट वेरी कीन फॉर इट. Later on, when I got my vacancy of the things like dramatics, I joined, and I soon grew up to be one of the, a very good actor or a dramatist in the school. अगर मुझे वो वैकेंसी नहीं मिलता वो ड्रामेटिक्स के ऊपर, मैं शायद पूरी लाइव स्कूल में चला जाता वो मच्छी पकड़ने के लिए. और आजकल मच्छी भी नहीं मिलते हैं, बिकॉज ऑल दिस मच्छीज हैव वैनिश्ड फ्रॉम पॉन्ड्स. दे आर सो डर्टी. So, coming back to writing your hobbies per se, write what is your actual hobby. And if you do not have a hobby, for God's sake, don't write. There is no harm if you say, sir, I do not have a hobby. Because we do understand that today's schools and colleges in India actually do not provide that much amount of facilities because of large amount of students and infrastructure having dwindled down, as it was found during our time. And since I studied in a residential school, that's a different issue, that we got this facility. But many of the schools and colleges I visited and have seen, there is no facility for this. So we don't blame you, let me tell you this. We are all seized of the system that we have. But say you are good in singing, you have pursued singing, not necessarily this thing, and you are fond of a particular singer, you are fond of a particular style of singing, like say it is ghazal ho gaya, classical ho gaya, modern singing ho gaya, anything for that matter, which is very natural. You are fond of reading books, you are fond of writing, you are fond of painting. Please write down. Many times people don't write these small things because बोलते हैं सवाल पूछ लेंगे तो मैं क्या करूँगा. Yes. Anything that you write, you should naturally expect that you are going to draw questions in that. Say if you say you're reading books, you will definitely draw a question saying that what type of books do you read? Who is your favorite author? Can you name few books that you've read of your favorite author last? They are the questions that will come to you. Can you, and people go to the extent that can you tell me the summary of this book if the interview expert has read that particular book? So these 3-4 questions which are likely to come from a particular hobby has not come from the mind of the interview expert. It's come from where? मतलब जो आपने खुद लिखा है ना? Yes or no? So this is where your intelligence must work. Okay, that I must write, and after that I must prepare myself in such a manner that I am prepared for the answers at the board. You may have read, but kabhi in the heat of the moment, in the interview board, वो याद ही नहीं आता. You try to recollect, नहीं sir, याद है. Then you have a fear कि न बोलूँ तो शायद गलत नंबर लग जाएगा. नहीं sir, actually I have not read sir. Or something of that nature. You start to bypass that question. Because the environment in which you are sitting now, with such cool mind and listening to me, is an entirely different environment when you are sitting in front of an interview board, 5 to 6 people, and grilling you. Grilling not for your bad, but to uplift you. And the fear of failure, कि शायद कुछ गलत बोल दूंगा या पूरे मुझे मेंस को दोबारा मुझे अपेयर करना पड़ेगा. So ये जो आपको initial impression, initial marks fetching, conveying your own quality that you have, actually lies in your own hand, and this DAF is a very important issue. Don't try to put wrong figures in the DAF. Do not try to write something which you have not done. Okay. And you all must have developed some sort of leadership qualities in some form or the other in your life, whether school, college, social life, including arranging family picnics, including arranging catering for marriages of your relatives. Say, for instance, you have taken the responsibility of organizing marriage of your sister. आजकल शादी कोई अरेंज करना कोई कम चीज नहीं होता है. It requires a full organization skills. You still can write it. Because if you get a question that what leadership qualities you exhibited during the question of organizing this marriage ceremony, the first and foremost that comes up is that identifying the resources. Second, aggregating the resources. Third, ensuring a financial discipline while expenditure is concerned. Fourth, ensuring that whatever food is being catered for do not get waste. Ensuring that invitations goes in time. Invitation that all spelling, writing names which are written in the invitation cards are absolutely proper. And ensuring that at the end of the day, the other side, if my sister is getting married, from the groom side, every aspect that they require as per the requirement have been catered for. Do you think it's not a management issue? शादी करना कोई कम नहीं है. शादी के बाद ऑफ कोर्स बात क्या होता है, गड़बड़ होता है. That's a different issue. बट जो शादी कराता है, ठीक है ना, उसका तो बैंड बजाता है. एंड ये बैंड बाजा जो है एक्चुअली इज अ पार्ट ऑफ अ मैनेजमेंट. You exhibited leadership skills there. And if you've actually done, there is no harm even for writing that your leadership skills you exhibited, okay, as I told you, either in school, college, university, profession, or even in family. But you should be ready to explain, because if it says in family marriage, so and so, what do you do in family marriage? You should feel happy. ये असली क्वेश्चन आ गया मुझे. But if you are prepared for it, कि sir, I'm the only brother, or I have the so and so करके, I took the responsibility. My father told me that you please take on the responsibility. I immediately volunteered. I was working somewhere, sir. I took about 1 month's leave. I came here and I did the following things. So if you have time, I will explain to you further. I did A, B, C, D, E, F, G, just so and so and so. In the process of this small answer, what have you conveyed to the board? Firstly, by saying that my father told me to, and I took the responsibility, you have conveyed to the board that you are a person who seeks responsibility. Okay, by using your father's name, that my father entrusted this task to me, you have conveyed to the board that you have the confidence of your parent, your father. That means quite likely you must be one of the good sons. By saying that you took the responsibility to arrange your sister's marriage, you again convey to the board that I have a desire or innate quality to seek responsibility. लोग बहुत प्रकार होते हैं, काम तो करते हैं, but very few people seek responsibility. कल जॉब करोगे, तुमको काम दिया जाएगा, वो कर लोगे आप. But when you seek responsibility, one quality that you look for in you is called initiative. क्या उसका आपके अंदर initiative है या नहीं है? So आप जब पर्सनल क्वेश्चन को ऊपर आप ऐसे बोलते हो, we start making impressions that here is a boy who is got the trust of his parents. Here is a boy who can be relied upon. Here is a person who seeks responsibility, that means has got initiative. And here is a person who can execute tasks by logically thinking and planning and execution. आपको समझ में नहीं आ रहा होगा कि इतनी सारी चीज एक छोटी सी रिस्पॉन्स के अंदर जो है निकल जाएगा। पर आप मन मन में सोचोगे यार मैं शादी तो करवाया था बहन का, सिस्टर का, उसमें इंटरव्यू बोर्ड में बोलने की क्या जरूरत है? Which is very not natural. It's not something is natural at your age and experience. It happens. See, if I've been head of the dramatic society of the school or the college, क्या लिखना है उसके ऊपर यार? ड्रामेटिक पूछ लेगा बेटी इंटरव्यू बोर्ड में, क्या क्या एक्टर था तुम, एक्टिंग कर रहा था? कोई पूछेगा यार तुम IAS बनोगे, तुम वहां पर एक्टर बनोगे, you should have gone to Hollywood for this. These are all natural thought process at your age because your mind keeps moving sharply from this to this and this to this. Only with one thing कि मैं गलत लिख दूं, कोई खराब लिख दूं, कल मैं फंस ना जाऊं. But if you follow this basic principle that those leadership qualities which you have exhibited innately, knowingly, consciously or unconsciously during your lifetime, if you put it in a very logical manner in the particular diaphragm, you have already started exhibiting those personal qualities which we are looking for. You're getting my point? So you are taking the initiative in your own hand. Because very soon, once this is over, the initiative आपके हाथ से निकल जाएगा, वो बोर्ड के हाथ में चला जाएगा. Because वो जो उनका मर्जी है, वो वही पूछेंगे. So this is a very important thing. People write that I have participated in NCC, National Cadet Corps. They write I've done part A, part B, part C, represent a Republic Day parade and so on and so forth करके. कभी-कभी you must have done all these things. But that shows only one part. आप इतने लिख देते हो कि जगह सिर्फ इतना ही होता है, थोड़ा सा होता है. If you have got other qualities to exhibit, आप उसको लिख नहीं पा रहे हो, फिर छोड़ देते हो, रहने दो यार. But if you are writing 2-3 core qualities, think पहले, इसको पहले practice करो, मैं क्या लिखूंगा DAF के अंदर. Possibly you will get the expertise after even practicing for 30 to 40 times. Let me tell you this. आप खुद देखो, blank DAF form ले जाओ और you keep entering. आप 5 बार लिखो. And you take me without consulting the previous one, and if you keep writing it down 5 times, if at all they are the same, then I will give you 100 rupees. और 1000 रुपए, 1000. नहीं, 2 से ले लेना. Human nature is human nature. Okay, mind is so fluctuating because you're all thinking कि that ऐसा मैं कुछ ना लिखूं, यार ऐसा लिखूं कि मैं जो इंप्रेशन करूं, या ऐसा ना लिखूं जो कि मैं मेरा नेगेटिव हो जाए. Because you are appearing for an examination. If I was to tell you that ऐसे लिखो, कोई एग्जाम नहीं है, आप देखो अच्छी तरह से लिख लोगे. But the moment it becomes exam, you become conscious. But this consciousness has to be exploited in such a manner that it aligns to the desired personal qualities that the interview board is looking for. And those are essentially what I said, कि we are looking for organizational capability. अब आपको मैं किसी को भी खड़ा कर दूं, बोलूंगा भाई ये बताओ एक एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर का तो क्या क्वालिटी होना चाहिए. अब वही क्वालिटी बताओ जो मैं बता रहा हूं, कोई नई चीज बता रहा हूं. I am here to tell you what we are looking for. But if I just ask you that what is it that you are looking for, you will, or what requires for a good administrator, you will all tell me. So please write down this diaphragm in a manner wherein you are trying to convey your leadership qualities, your organization capabilities, etc. in a much lucid and a better manner on which you have a own initiative. And आपको ऊपर कोई भी questions को पूछा जाएगा, you should be able to tell in a very fluent manner, in a manner which the other person understands. So here the effective communication comes in. I can give you thousands of examples where we have asked people, now please explain to me one of the biggest achievements that you have had in your schools and college or school so and so. वही पता नहीं पाते, वही पता नहीं पाते. पहले तो आइडेंटिफाई नहीं होता है, नहीं सर ऐसा तो कुछ है नहीं कोई स्कूल वूल में सर, ठीक है ऐसे पढ़ता था, कॉलेज में कुछ ना कुछ किया होगा, नहीं सर ऐसे क्या, पढ़ाई तो करना था ना, कुछ ऐसे कुछ हुआ नहीं. अगर नहीं भी क्या ना ऐसा मत बताना, नहीं सर. And if you have done a work, or done project, done research, put them in a very succinct manner, so that it is up to you to handle this. This form actually forms the basis of the interview. Another thing that you write in this is your optionals. I'll deal a little about optionals here. Because again, this is a question which is, this is something on your own initiative. If let's say for instance, आपने optional दिया है public administration. So in public administration, the moment you know, you should try to gauge that what are the questions, and what we're looking for is, ये optional आपने वैसे लिया है, whether it is aligned to your basic qualification that you have taken. Many people, you may be engineering graduate, but you could have taken what, sociology, optional, whatever it may be, public administration, I'm telling you. But what involves public administration? Basic question. We just want to ask you, see, कि ये अपने optional paper मार्क लेने के लिए लिया है या अपने कुछ सोच समझ कर आपका इंटरेस्ट है नहीं है. The whole concept of optional is basically that I have studied something, but that's not my liking. That is why there is a range of subjects, 48 subjects, जहाँ से पिकअप करो कि आपको क्या पसंद आता है. That was the original concept on which it started. But now it has gone into mark fetching. मैं geography लेता हूँ, अच्छा मार्क मिलेगा. मैं anthropology ले लेता हूँ, मुझे अच्छा मार्क मिल जाएगा. Okay, people start thinking all these things. But it really doesn't make a difference, let me tell you. In fact, sometimes it works counter. Counter in the sense, agar you have one optional where too many people have applied, vis-a-vis less number of people applied, the latter has got an advantage. Once I wrote Bodo language, एक ही optional था. He was the only candidate. He had an advantage, which of course has to be prescribed. I don't say that you write कि मैं भोजपुरी लिखूंगा something of the nature. वो नहीं है. It has to be prescribed, part of the optionals per se. So coming back to the issue of writing optional papers is that if you have exercised your option of putting down on a paper optional, उसको आपने पढ़ाई तो किया है ना, आपने पढ़ाई किया होगा. तो होता क्या, जैसे मेंस का पेपर दे देते हैं, हम उसको बंद कर देते हैं और छुट्टी. यार तब देखेंगे, यार पता नहीं रिजल्ट आएगा नहीं आएगा, क्या है फलाना, तब खोलेंगे. एंड ह्यूमन माइंड इज सच कि जो आज पढ़ा है तुमने, एक महीने के बाद आप देखोगे यू आर ओनली रिटर्निंग 10%, 2 महीने के बाद 5%, 3 महीने के बाद 1%. और रिजल्ट और इंटरव्यू के बीच में कितना फर्क होता है? 2-3 महीने. So we are actually going at 10%, 5% of your knowledge at that point of time. But if you know that this is the type of question, I will definitely draw questions as far as optionals is concerned. जिस दिन आपकी मेंस खत्म हुआ, रिजल्ट चाहे 3-4 महीने के बाद आए निकले, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. चिल आउट करो फॉर 15 days or something, गो सी मूवीज दिस दैट करके आप तैयारी करो कि मेरा इंटरव्यू अभी से. एंड issues of your basic subject, if you have done civil engineering, उसकी आप रिफ्रेश करो, एक छोटा सा नोटबुक लो, जितने भी फंडामेंटल क्वेश्चंस होते हैं सिविल इंजीनियरिंग का वो पहले लिख लो. बिकॉज द अर्लियर प्रिपरेशन फॉर मेंस वाज डिफरेंट. That was on a syllabus prescribed by the UPSC. Now you are expecting कि कल मेरा मैं अगर मैं clear कर लूँ, then when I go, then definitely I will draw questions on my basic subject and also my optional subject. So why the hell are you not starting preparation from now on? Don't wait कि मैं तब देख लूँगा. And when we start asking you questions on these issues, okay, we ask you very fundamental questions. Even let's say take public administration. What do you understand by public administration? There are so many definitions. Woodrow Wilson से लेकर Peter Lyle से लेकर उसके लेकर जो है कई definitions है. 2-3 अच्छे definitions को लिख लो और उसको रट्टे मार दो, जब कोई भूलोगे नहीं. So the moment you ask a question, what do you understand by public administration? Sir, as per so and so, his definition says so and so. So and so करके. You have made the damn impression. But अब वहीं पर आप सोचने लगोगे ये होता क्या public? Sir, it's a combination of all actions taken, this, that, government, इधर से उड़ा, उधर से किया. आप उसी दलदल में फंस जाओगे, आपको शुरू में वहाँ से निकल नहीं पाओगे. बहुत लोग दल में फंस जाते हैं शुरू में ही, पूरे हीरो वीरो निकल कर बैठते हैं. हाँ, मैंने तो अभी मेंस कर लिया, सब कुछ कर लिया, ठीक है, ये इज ए क्वेश्चन ऑफ टाइम. मैं जाऊंगा तो मेरी गाड़ी होगी, नौकर होगा, फलाना होगा, और फिर दुनिया में चलने चालू कर देते हैं. नो. सो दिस प्रिपरेशन फॉर बोथ योर ऑप्शनल and your subject of your qualification, that is whatever you are, हिस्ट्री ग्रेजुएट, पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट वगैरह वगैरह जो भी कुछ है, इंजीनियरिंग है, उसकी तैयारी अभी से करो इन ए टोटली डिफरेंट फॉर्मेट. बिकॉज वहाँ पर विल नॉट गोइंग टू आस्क यू हायर टेक्निकल नॉलेज ऑफ सिविल इंजीनियरिंग. हम शायद आपको पूछेंगे टेल मी व्हाट आर द फंडामेंटल ऑफ ए स्ट्रक्चरल इंजीनियरिंग. बोर्ड में शायद कोई सिविल इंजीनियर बैठा होगा, पता नहीं, और कोई इंजीनियरिंग बैकग्राउंड का बैठा होगा, उसका तो कुछ यू कांट हैव एनीथिंग ऑन इट. बट अगर खुद इंजीनियर सिविल इंजीनियर होगा वहाँ पर फेल मार लोगे, बात तो सही नहीं है ना. क्यों? IBM, यू वर्किंग इन IBM? नो, यूज्ड टू वर्क. यहाँ तक कि मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर वालों को मैंने कभी कभी क्वेश्चन पूछा हूँ, यार तू मैकेनिकल एडवांटेज थोड़ा मुझे वो कर दे, गिव मी द शो मी द डेफिनेशन ऑफ ए, टेल मी द डेफिनेशन ऑफ ए मैकेनिकल एडवांटेज. वो फंस जाता है. या तो टॉर्क बोल दे, डिफरेंस बिटवीन फोर्स एंड ए टॉर्क. इट्स नॉट दैट दैट पर्सन is not qualified. What happens at that point of time, जब वो सवाल पूछा जाता है, ठीक है ना, वो आता नहीं है, बिकॉज ही नेवर थॉट कि मुझे शायद यूपीएससी में पूछेंगे यार मैकेनिकल एडवांटेज क्या बताओ, टॉर्क क्या बताओ, फोर्स क्या बताओ. वो इसको पूरा उसके दिमाग से ब्लैंक आउट हो जाता है. वो सब कुछ तैयारी करता है, इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन, G20, T20, टैग टू टाक इतना कर लेता है, वो इतना माइंड भर जाता है, ये सब भूल जाता है. ठीक है. एंड this information, this type of responses which are required to come from this particular document is so essential. It can make a total difference in the interview or it can drop you down. और ये आपके हाथ में है, अभी तो मेरे हाथ में है. Are you understanding? The second thing that comes up is your cadre selection or the service selection. Whether you want to join IAS, want to join IPS, join IRS, foreign service and so and so. Now, इन चीज़ों का जो है हर एक का एक, you will definitely draw a question if you have written say IFS. IAS तो 80-90% लिखते रहते हैं. Or you put your first choice as IPS. Nowadays, a lot of people give first choice as IRS, Revenue Service also. Then comes your others, audits and accounts, etc. So why you want to join this service? First, you have to make these answers ready in advance and keep it with you. And if these answers of your choice of your service can be supplemented with an example of a role model of yours which you are associated with. For example, let's take, in your district, you came across a very wonderful IAS officer, and you are also following up or impressed with the type of work he has got. There are many district collectors who have been so recognized that they have won Magasa Award, they have been given national award, they have been given international awards for doing very, very small things. किसका सीवरेज ठीक कर दिया, सोशल जस्टिस को कर दिया, फलाना कर दिया, and they are so devoted and dedicated even at a very young stage. Or if you have seen some police officer, okay, who had done a wonderful job, or you come across some foreign service officer who may be a relative, maybe a friend, maybe so and so, or some foreign service officer of national importance or international importance, कि सर जब मैं उनको देखता हूँ ना, I feel that's a role model. Plus, I would like to join foreign service because I love international relations, I can understand geopolitics well, and I have a flair for diplomacy. Oh, you have a flair for diplomacy? What is it like? So diplomacy is nothing but how we actually speak and negotiate. I think I'm good at negotiations. And oh, very nice. We already start feeling that you're good at negotiations. Sir, that's my strong quality, which I felt when I was in school and college, not only debate but otherwise also. Because आपको situation बनाना पड़ेगा to tell the interview board what you're good at. अगर कुछ नहीं बोलोगे, नहीं सर मुझे ऐसे दिल करता है IFS जाने के लिए सर, वहाँ पर आई विल गो टू वेरियस कंट्रीज, बड़े बड़े देश में जाऊँगा, घूमूंगा, ठीक है ना सर, मैं कभी आज तक बाहर नहीं गया सर, देश के बाहर से, ये पहला मौका मिल जाएगा तो जाके थोड़ा घूमने घामने के लिए सर, ठीक है. सो व्हाट डिडक्शंस वी मेक, वी से कि हियर इज अ कैंडिडेट who has not applied his mind. So the psychological deduction is that कि if this candidate वो consciously सोचा कि मैं IFS join करूँगा, foreign service join करूँगा, and he has not consciously applied his mind also why you want to join, don't you think that that person's mind is not a very, very क्या balanced mind? थोड़ा imbalance है नहीं है? अगर सोचेगा कि मैं IFS ज्वाइन करूँगा कि मैं देश घूमूंगा, the answers actually come because that boy has not prepared himself for that answer. It's not that he actually wants to move, no. But कुछ तो जवाब देगा ना, और नहीं देगा तो बोलेगा नंबर नहीं मिलेगा, तो बोल देता चलो दिया सबसे अच्छा है सर, एक्चुअली मैं कहीं बाहर से नहीं गया हूँ. देन दे स्टार्ट गेटिंग टू सिंपैथेटिक नोट, सर एक्चुअली आई कम फ्रॉम वेरी पुअर फैमिली सर, माय फादर इज सो एंड सो, ओके, एंड मैं कभी बाहर नहीं गया, आज तक मैं बॉम्बे भी नहीं गया सर. सो बिकॉज आप फंस गए, यू वांट टू ड्रॉ द सिंपैथी ऑफ द बोर्ड, ठीक है, और आपने तैयारी नहीं किया कि मैं फॉरेन सर्विस क्यों ज्वाइन करूँ. सो आपको ऐसे 1-2 मिनट बर्बाद हो जाता है वहाँ पर करते करते, नेट रिजल्ट 0 होता है, क्योंकि ना तो हम बैठे बैठे आप वी कैन assess you any quality of yours, rather than getting positive quality आपको हम नेगेटिव कर देते हैं. क्या बंदे ने अपने आप को इतना ही अप्लाई नहीं किया, और कम से कम तो अगर IFS लिखा है 1 साल बच्चों को मिला है तो सोचने के लिए ना, तुम प्रीलिम्स में आया, मेंस में आया, फलाने, 1 साल के अंदर तुमने एक जवाब का सवाल नहीं कर पाया है कि यार तुम क्यों फॉरेन सर्विस ज्वाइन करना चाहता है. इफ यू आर ऑल्सो इन माई पोजिशन, दे आर सिटिंग इन द बोर्ड, व्हाट विल यू इन्फर, व्हाट विल यू डिडक्ट, विल यू हैव अ गुड इंप्रेशन और नॉट अ गुड इंप्रेशन? नॉट गुड इंप्रेशन ना, आई वोंट से बैड इंप्रेशन, नॉट गुड इंप्रेशन ना. एंड दैट्स व्हाट एक्चुअली हैपेंस. जब आपका नंबर नहीं मिलता है इंटरव्यू के बाद, बोलते यार मैं तो सब कुछ बोला यार मेरा कोई लिंक नहीं है ना उसका, वो बंदे का लिंक है यार. देन यू स्टार्ट मेकिंग सेल्फ एक्सक्यूज. बट गलती आपका है, बिकॉज आपने सही अपने बारे में नहीं सोचा और उसको तैयारी नहीं किया, और ये सब जो है इस फॉर्म के अंदर है. That is why today I devoted quite a bit of time that what's in your hand, what's in your capability, what's within you. Try to use it in such a manner that you align those particular things in terms of answers, in terms of response to the desired qualities that you're looking for an administrator. और कुछ नहीं है, desired quality कुछ नहीं, अच्छा organizing ability होना चाहिए, ठीक ठाक बोलना चाहिए, जो बोल रहा है दूसरों को समझ में आ सके, ठीक है, और उसका इतना cognitive capability होना चाहिए कि decision making ठीक ले ले. And this can be actually a wonderful document for you to do this. Are you with me so far or not? Yes, sir. Anything that you have, any questions before I move to the second part on the issue of DAF? The second part is I'll tell you that what you are supposed to know and what qualities you are required to develop. Yeah.
So do we need to verify the co-curricular activity certificates
If
as
you
well?
have the certificates, it's good enough. आजकल ऐसे certificate बड़ा थोक में issue हो जाता है, school college में वैसे मिल जाते हैं, because principals are very fond of signing. Okay, अगर है तो रख लो अपने पास. Okay, for some reason if you don't have, there we don't start asking. अच्छा तूने debate में लिया है, certificate दिखाओ. ऐसे नहीं होता है, ठीक है ना? We assume that if you are trying to become a civil service officer, इतनी तो responsibility होनी चाहिए, ठीक है, कि वो है, कि सच बोल रहा है कर. But should there be a matter of corroboration which we do sometime in extreme cases? कोई बंदा fail हो रहा है, कोई बंदा margin में है, कोई फलाना है, then we go to this level कि थोड़ा सा उसको ऊपर level करने के लिए. It does help. Okay.
So one more question. So I graduated in 2018, so it would be 6 years when I actually start appearing for the interview. So do I need to prepare the academic background or my professional background?
Both.
Both.
Because you couldn't have got a profession without academics.
Yes, sir.
बिना क्वालिफिकेशन तो नौकरी तो नहीं मिलता ना.
No, sir.
हाँ मिल गया वैसे कोई दाने में.
नहीं.
ऐसा तो नहीं है ना.
No, sir.
हाँ? तो you have to prepare both. ठीक है. Because what the interview board is trying to see is a growth. So how have you grown in life? Okay, what behavioral systems that you develop, what social influences was on you during that particular time. Because through that, we start gauging your emotional quotient, your emotional intelligence, your ability to handle public, and so on and so forth. Okay?
Yes, sir.
There is a deductions in everything that you, the very fact you speak like this, I can immediately tell you 3 qualities what for, from this particular talk of yours.
Okay, sir.
वो नहीं बताऊंगा because सारे crowd बैठे हैं. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other? Yeah.
For me, I would like to play sports also, like football, and I would like to paint also during my leisure time. And even sometimes I used to watch a lot of animes also. Like in writing the draft, which one should I prefer, or like can I write 3 of them? Like,
see, there has to be a distinct difference between a recreation and a hobby. Recreation क्या? I want to play my क्या होता है खेलते तुम PlayStation, right? I want to play some computer games. Okay, that is just to refresh your mind. I will go for a walk, picture देख लिया, फलाना कर लिया. These are distraction, deliberate distraction of the mind given for recreation. Getting my point? Hobby is passion. जो आज कर रहा हूँ मैं कल भी कर सकता हूँ, परसों भी कर सकता हूँ, फलाना भी कर सकता हूँ, ठीक है? For which I am seeing something which I like. So you have to make that distinct difference on this particular issue. Say like you are fond of football per se, खेलना चाहते हो, and you play, you participate in competitions, you participate in school, you represent college, you represent so and so and so. So this particular skill of yours starts becoming a hobby. The sports also becomes a hobby automatically because you are pursuing that. You are liking, that's why you are pursuing ना. Otherwise नहीं like करता तो pursue नहीं करोगे. But आज आपने प्ले स्टेशन खेल लिया और मूड हुआ 15 दिन के बाद 20 दिन के बाद दोबारा प्ले स्टेशन खेल लिया. Okay, that's a recreation. So the distinction, the difference between recreation and hobby has to be very well defined.
Thank you, sir.
Which place are you? Are you from Manipur?
Yes, sir.
Churachandpur or Imphal?
Imphal is.
Imphal district. Okay, good. They're all good footballers from Manipur. Yeah, anything else?
Yes, sir. I have. So I have been working in IT for the past around 10 years. So I assume that there must be some external means extra expectations from me because I have a long journey of experience. So is it certainly there is a different expectation means in terms of sincerity, maturity from a fresher?
I actually couldn't understand your question. You say that what you worked in IT sector.
Yes, I have
Okay.
been.
Okay,
I am working right
you are
now.
working. That's a
Yes.
fact. That's a
That's a
statement.
fact.
That's a
That's a
statement.
statement.
Yeah.
And it has been a long journey. It is around 10 years. So, the interview board, is it going to have a different set of expectations from me than a person who is just a fresher?
See, you're right in one way that since you have had little more experience, both in age, both in working environment, okay, which a fresher doesn't have.
Yes.
Expectations are different, but assessments are not different. Assessment, when we assess, both of you, expectations are different. Now, I'll explain this to you. In the sense, if you have spent 8 years, let us say, in a service, right? We will try to seek what leadership qualities that you exhibited during this particular time.
Yes.
What is it that thing you are admired for? What is it that you did something for which we should be feeling proud of? Okay.
Yes.
What is it that you can contribute, say, for an IT person as far as the public administration is concerned? Because you have already had experience in this. If it's a fresher, again in IT, we'll ask, now tell me, you're going to join this particular service. How can you apply your IT knowledge for enhancement of the public administration or the public service? Or we'll ask a situation question to the fresher saying that, let's say tomorrow you are the collector of your district and you got to implement the new financial inclusion system wherein large amount of accounts are to be opened up. How can you use your knowledge of technology for opening of bank accounts or ensuring the deliverables of government beneficiary activities reach to the last person? So we are asking a question which of thought process to a fresher.
Yes.
But you having experience, you will draw a lot of questions on what you have done first, and then possibly draw 1 or 2 more questions on future. But a fresher will draw 4 or 5 questions as to what is the future and maybe less on what is done. So this is the way we handle people who have got experience or not experience. But while it is in the back of our mind, on the question of giving you marks and assessment, okay, it is a uniform plane. What she says as a fresher will get marks as per her response. What you say as an experienced professional will get marks as per your listing. But it is related to the overall aim of public service. But I can hear you.
Ultimately, it lies to means the expectation from a public servant, right? It ultimately boils down to that.
Yeah, obviously, because we are hiring or selecting you for this only. We are selecting you to be part of the public service. IAS, IPS, IFF, whatever, it's all part of the public service.
Okay, one more thing. From a hobby perspective, even means in my coding experience, I love to do coding. Can I write down it as a hobby?
Usually, don't put your professional things as hobby. Because we think that, इसका और कोई hobby नहीं है.
I'm debating.
Okay, ये उसको exploit करना चाहता है, coding करना. You may be liking coding. Okay,
Yes.
say like, you are civil engineer क्या तुम? What's your qualification? BA? Program. ये भी computer वाला है. BA प्रोग्राम है ना तो? नहीं BA प्रोग्राम what subject have you got? आर्ट्स में क्या है? हिस्ट्री, राइट. नो, ये नहीं बोलेगा कि सर मेरा जो हॉबी है कि मैं सारे टेम्पल में घूमता रहता हूँ, मुझे सर टेम्पल जाने में बड़ा अच्छा लगता है. ठीक है, यस, अच्छा लगता होगा, दैट्स अ पार्ट ऑफ अ लाइक, ओके, बट इट्स नॉट अ हॉबी. अगर उसको बोलेंगे तुम यार रोज जाओ टेम्पल, वो नहीं जाएगा वो. आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू ब्रिंग आउट सम शटल डिस्टिंक्ट डिफरेंस बिटवीन रिक्रिएशन एंड हॉबी. यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? And don't put professional issues as part of hobby. That's an advice. If you can manipulate it, nothing like it. ठीक है? Oh, thank you.
Hello, sir. My name is Prachi. Sir, actually, I have been preparing for 5 years, and if given opportunity, this will be my first interview. So, I expect that board will ask me question about this gap years. Like I have been preparing since 5 years, wholehearted preparation. I have no work experience as such. So, how should I justify this gap?
But have you cleared main so far? No.
No, this will be my first mains. I have been.
Okay, say let's take you clear mains and you reach the interview board per se.
Yes.
If you've done you've done cleared in 5 attempts, there's absolutely no harm. The board doesn't take any this thing.
This doesn't
No,
give
not
any
at all.
negative
Okay,
impression.
rather sometimes the board is appreciative that you got so much of determination कि आप इसको छोड़ते नहीं हो बिल्कुल,
Yes, sir.
किसी हालत में नहीं छोड़ोगे.
No, sir. Not at all.
ठीक है ना?
Yes, sir.
So with that goes sometimes positively, but say with pride.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I tried hard for 4 times, 5th time I'm successful.
Yes, sir.
But what made you succeed in the 5th time and not in the earlier times? No. So the likely answer would be, sir, every time I didn't succeed, I worked upon my limitations and my shortcomings, and I kept on improving.
Yes.
So what you have done, you are converting disadvantage into advantage. भाई बोलते बोलते, बट उसको पहले से तैयारी करना पड़ेगा क्या बोलना है.
जी सर.
समझ में आ रहा है? It's only very few gifted guys, and those gifted guys, I put it not more than even 5% also, let me tell you, of this thing, who can immediately manipulate answers and speak, because they're gifted with high cognitive capability. There are people who take the boat for a ride straight away. Let me tell you this also. कभी कोई फंस भी जाते हैं वो. But that elemental cognitive capability which are gifted are very few. Most of us have got developmental qualities which we can develop through consistent practice. But गलती ये करते हैं, हम प्रैक्टिस नहीं करते हैं. पढ़ तो लेंगे, ठीक है ना, किताब लेकर 10-10 घंटा 12-12 घंटा, मगर खुद की मैं सही बोल रहा हूँ नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, मैं सही समझ रहा हूँ नहीं समझ रहा हूँ, मैं इमोशनल इश्यूज को हैंडल कर रहा हूँ नहीं कर रहा हूँ, उसको प्रैक्टिस नहीं कर रहे हैं. बोलो क्यों नहीं कर रहे हो? सर मैं ऐसे, मेरा गुस्सा आता है हमेशा, सर कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है सर, ये तो मेरा नेचुरल है, बचपन से हूँ मैं, गुस्सा आ ही जाता है मेरा. अरे क्यों गुस्सा आता है तुमको? कभी कभी सोच ले कि गुस्सा क्यों आता है. एंड मेनी टाइम्स दिस मैनिफेस्ट ऑल्सो इन, because nobody has told you that getting angry is bad. Okay, you need to control your anger, you need to balance your anger. I have seen candidates slithering from inside when they were asked with a question which is not actually to their liking. और many times जानबूझ के हम प्रोवोक करते हैं बंदे को, उनको पता नहीं लगता है, जानबूझ को प्रोवोक करते हैं कि इसकी इमोशनल स्टेबिलिटी क्या है. ठीक है, वैसे ना सर कैन आई हैव अ ग्लास ऑफ वाटर सर प्लीज सर, सर थोड़ा पानी चाहिए मुझे, 1 गिलास पी लिया, 2 गिलास भी पी लिया. ओके, सो इसका मतलब क्या, उसके अंदर इतने हीट जनरेट हो जाता है बॉडी के अंदर बिकॉज ऑफ एंगर इशू, राइट, दैट इज सब्स द एनर्जी, दिस सब्स द एनर्जी. वो आपको पता नहीं लगेगा, एज यू नो यंग पीपल वी गेट टू नो ऑफ इट. बट इफ यू हैव appeared for 5 times and I'm sure you will succeed. Okay,
Thank you so
and definitely say कि I done with a lot of pride, I took out all the limitations, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, very good afternoon, sir. Sir, suppose if you are in a state PCS examination, in interview, if they ask whether you are going to dedicate yourself in the work or you are going to future examinations like UPSC or IAS. So if they ask me whether you want to continue in the job or you want to give further examinations, which one should we choose? Like if you are in
Till
a
such
state
time
PCS.
you don't get a fixed affirmation of a future job, you should not leave your present job. अगर मुझे क्लियर हो गया, सब कुछ हो गया, ठीक है, but as an aspirant, a person of our system, you can appear for any examination. कल आप स्टेट सिविल सर्विसेज में हो, आप रहकर भी आप यूपीएससी दे सकते हो. यहाँ तक कि हमारे कंट्री में यूपीएससी अलाउ करता है और कोई कंट्री में नहीं है. लेट मी टेल यू दिस कि दैट इफ यू जॉइंड अनदर सर्विस, आईपीएस मिला और कुछ मिला, यू कैन रीअपियर व्हाइल बीइंग इन सर्विस. ओके, एंड यू कैन ट्राई अगेन कि शायद मेरा आईएएस हो जाएगा करके. ठीक है, और एलाइड आपको मिला हुआ है, कोई चीज़ ग्रुप भी मिला हुआ है, आप दोबारा आप अपेयर करके जो है बोल सकते हो कि आई वांट टू एलिवेट माय मेरिट. इट इज परमिटेड.
Sir, if they counter that you are like misusing the resources once you are in the service, while not dedicated yourself to the service, you are going for other.
No, you are not misutilizing services. You are rather extra utilizing the services. Okay, you are doing your work at the same time you are preparing. And if you are authorized leave, every service is entitled leave. Okay, if you have taken leave, annual leave or casual leave and so, and I'm doing it, that's an entitled thing.
So
हाँ,
one more-
अगर आप काम वाम नहीं कर बैठे हो, आप पूरा आप पीसीएस ऑफिसर हो, ठीक है ना, वहाँ पर जाके किताब पढ़ रहे हो सुबह शाम, काम नहीं कर रहे हो, ठीक है, वो बात गलत है. वो तो आप नहीं कर रहे हो क्या भाई? नहीं. अभी आर यू इन प्रोविंशियल सिविल सर्विस? नहीं.
No, sir, not now.
सोच रहे हो जाने के लिए, ओके, कोई बात नहीं. अगर सोच रहे हो, सिलेक्ट हो जाता है, काम करो 2 साल, आराम से यूपीएससी पे आओ. ठीक है.
Sir, one more question. Sir, suppose I am from Assam. If they ask that whether the migrants from Bangladesh should be allowed to enter Assam, and if I say that no, there will be like lack of resources already in the state, and if they counter that people from other states like UP and Bihar also migrate to Assam, harming the resources. So won't it be a kind of dual answers to the parts?
यार तुमको समझ ये चीज़ नहीं आता है. बांग्लादेश एक दूसरा कंट्री है. अगर दूसरे कंट्री में, हमारे कंट्री में अगर माइग्रेट हो जाएगा, क्यों करें यार?
So like एक डिमांड है ना वहाँ पे कि डेमोग्राफी डिस्ट्रैक्ट हो
वो
रहा है.
मारा गोली डेमोग्राफी को. पॉइंट हियर इज यू आर फीलिंग, यू आर नाउ वर्किंग फॉर द कंट्री. एज ए फ्यूचर पब्लिक सर्वेंट, योर इंटरेस्ट लाइज फॉर द कंट्री. Getting my point? Look, when you answer questions, always put a frame of mind that you are a constitutional authority. You got a protection from constitution. You are working for the nation. You are working for the people. You are working for the community. अगर ये सब सोच कर रखो ना, आपका आंसर जरूर आएगा. अरे वो माइग्रेंट्स जब there was a requirement, जबकि borders were not very well delineated and demarcated, and certain amount of policy was there that we could, because उस टाइम पे हमारे चाय के gardens में टी gardens में we didn't have laborers to work. Assamese won't do labor work because वो बाबू लोग है थोड़ा सा, ठीक है ना, तो वो तो करेंगे नहीं. सो नेचुरली जो इतने सारे चाय के बगान हैं वहाँ पर, उसकी जो लेबरर चाहिए, दे ऑल केम फ्रॉम बांग्लादेश. सो एज ए थिंग वी परमिटेड देम. अभी हमको जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि जो आ गए हैं उनके बच्चे सब वो काम कर रहे हैं बगानों में. वी डोंट रिक्वायर, बट दे बिकम ए न्यूसेंस, राइट? सो यू डोंट सपोर्ट. बिकॉज मैं बिहार में रहकर मैं दिल्ली जा सकता हूँ, तो बांग्लादेश से आकर वो असम क्यों नहीं आ सकता है? ये तो बात ठीक नहीं है ना बेटे, है ना? ओके, बैठ जाओ. चलो नेक्स्ट.
So, good afternoon, sir. So actually, there was a question that I was asked in 2021 when I applied for the civil services interview. So I just wanted to know how to handle such question. It was the last question that was asked by the board chairman, that loss is an asset or a liability. Like, how do you define it?
Yours is?
So loss is an asset or a liability. So this was a question that was asked by the chairman, sir, during my interview. So, sir, my question is like how to answer such question, because sir, I'm from a commerce background, and so loss is not recognized in the balance sheet, neither as a loss or neither as an asset or a liability. But then I couldn't find an appropriate answer to it.
See, many times, even if you're a commerce student, we are not looking for a typical commerce answer to the particular thing. A question is being posed to you that whether a loss is a liability or not. Many times losses are liability. Many times losses can be converted into assets also. How? Tell me, how losses can be converted into assets?
So we can learn from it, like from the failure.
See,
of
if you go by the pure definition, many times you have so much of non-performing assets, things in a company or a factory or something, पुराने चीज़ होते हैं, उसको अपने निकाला नहीं है, उसको डाउनग्रेड नहीं आया है, उसको अपने बुक बैलेंस से उसको नहीं निकाला है, automatically they are showing as assets, but they are not functioning. Okay, but he was definitely asking the question कि हमारे भी सरकार में ऐसा बहुत है कि हम सोच रहे हैं ये लोग एसेट है, लोग काम कर सेक्रेटरीट में बैठे हैं, काम तो कुछ कर नहीं रहे. डिस्ट्रिक्ट में चले जाओ, बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे बैठे हुए हैं कि हम वी कांट से कि हमारे पास एसेट है, इतने लोग है, बट परफॉर्म कितने कर रहे हैं, राइट? इन दैट केस देयर एक्चुअली लॉसेस. सो व्हाट हैपेंस इज लुकिंग एज एन एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर, आप इनको कैसे अच्छे बना सकते हो इस एसेट की. इफ यू आर लुकिंग फ्रॉम द पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू ऑफ ह्यूमन रिसोर्सेज, this is the solution. If you are looking from the point of material resources, this is the problem. Even loss profit also calculated on psychological front, on emotional fronts. There are people who get into huge emotional problem and get into losses both in personal life and also public life. उनको आप convert कर सकते हो as an asset also. Get your point? So rightfully the answer could have been that, but if you're still thinking that you could not make it because of this question answer, no, that may not be. It's a summation of everything. Yes. Okay. Life में ये एक चीज सीखो हमेशा, हमेशा लॉस को कैसे एसेट बनाना है. And because life is such a issue, it's like a sine graph. ऊपर नीचे, ऊपर नीचे, ऊपर नीचे. आज तक कोई इंसान पैदा नहीं हुआ है जो कि हमेशा एक लाइन पर है, वो तो मर जाता है. क्या होता है, लिखा ना स्ट्रेट लाइन. किस में आता है स्ट्रेट लाइन? जब हार्ट बंद हो जाता है. देखा है नहीं देखा है? अगर आप स्ट्रेट लाइन पर रहोगे, यू आर ऑफ, डेड. टू सर्वाइव यू हैव टू बी लाइक दिस. सो मगर जब आप नीचे होते हो, आप अगर उसको उस लॉस को कन्वर्ट नहीं कर ऊपर जाने के लिए, तो आप फिर दोबारा इतना ऊपर नहीं आओगे. तो फिर ऊपर जाएगा, फिर धीरे आएगा, वो धीरे आएगा, वो धीरे आएगा, वो धीरे आएगा, धीरे आएगा, आप ठक हो जाएगा जल्दी. So converting losses into assets, okay, is an art which is application in every walk of life. Okay.
Okay. So there was one more question. So like during our interview, sir, I've given like 3 times in civil services interview. So in which
all UPSC or state?
So one is civil services and the other is other exams conducted by UPSC. So during 2 experience, like how to assess like what actually goes on during the interview, because in few instances it feels like a very warming conversation and you can't actually assess like how the interview is going, and the marks which comes out are totally different. And so in one instance there was a lot of grilling by the board member, but some marks were like on a better side. So in that sense, like what should be our mindset while going in for the interview, like so what the board is trying to present to us?
See, I've been telling you since morning that the entire board is sitting out here, that that little short time they have, 30-40 minutes with you, to find out those desirable personal qualities what we require in an administrator. And यहाँ तक कि we have made it open through UPSC website that this is the one we are looking for. ऐसा नहीं कि कोई हवा से लेके आए ऊपर से कि हम देखेंगे करके. We are just looking for that only. And उसको भी मैं शॉर्टन आधा करके बोला कि ये 3-4 चीज़ अगर आप तैयार करोगे तो वही आपका कोई क्लियर हो जाएगा. ठीक है? Got my point? So the first intelligence, human intelligence, is that have you got a girlfriend?
No sir.
शादी हो गया नहीं हो गया?
No sir.
गर्लफ्रेंड भी नहीं है?
No sir.
अच्छा. I think you have one of them, you will clear quickly.
Okay sir.
Okay. It is because many times दूसरों को क्या जरूरी है वो जानना बहुत जरूरी है. अगर सब मैं हूँ, मैं खुश हूँ, मैं करूँगा करके, अब ठीक है ना, you will never be able to understand the other side of life. Here, similarly, बोर्ड का क्या चाहिए? अरे बोर्ड तुमको नंबर देगा ना, मार्क देना चाहिए तुमको, मारो गोली बाकी चीज़ का. How exactly you going to convert the subjectivity into objective marks is a basic aim. सो अगर आपको खुद को नहीं मालूम है कि उनको क्या चाहिए, आपको कैसे मार्क मिलेगा? You are an archer, let's say for instance. You got to get into that inner ring to get 10, 10, 10, 10, then only you can win. ठीक है? So you aim for that 10 only because that's a requirement in competitive thing. तुम बोलोगे नहीं मैं 6 पे मारूंगा मैं जीत जाऊंगा करके, ठीक है, तुम बाहर ही रहोगे, तीर मारोगे, बीच में कभी नहीं आओगे. Similarly, you have to convert your entire approach to life on these lines कि दूसरों को क्या चाहिए. And in life, everything. Tomorrow, you walk into in any job. If you go into districts, you got to learn about cultural intelligence. You got to learn about financial intelligence. You got to learn so and so. Yesterday morning, the Hamas attacked in a big manner to the Israelis. The first question asked is that how could not pick up? Where did the intelligence fail? This is all part of intelligence. If at all I am going for an interview, if at all I am appearing for a main examination, इस exam what does it entail? अगर वो आप अच्छी तरह से स्टडी नहीं करोगे, you can never apply yourself properly. ठीक है? Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Lighter mood if you don't have a girlfriend. Okay, down.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, I have been struggling with this question that how you can justify you will not be corrupt in the services.
You will not be corrupt in the services.
Yes.
अब तक सर्विस ज्वाइन ही नहीं किया तो इतना क्यों सोच रहे हो?
Sir, this question, like, what I should say so that I can convince the board that I will not be corrupt in future.
You can convince a board. Okay. If a question comes of this nature, how will you remain absolutely non-corrupt as far as things are concerned? See, this is not a very big deal question for the matter. Corruption is nothing, it's very highly related to greed. It's not related to your need. Simple as that. Okay, life mein, as long as the government ensures you what your needs are, because you have to decide to join public service. Okay, तुम business तो नहीं कर रहे हो, public service जा रहे हो, मतलब देश की सेवा कर रहे हो, आदमी का सेवा कर रहे हो, humanity का सेवा कर रहे हो, whatever it is. Okay, you have you get a good salary, you get good perks, you get good promotions, you get good facilities. Okay, say your starting salary today, as on today, for a class 1 civil servant, maybe in the range of, basic in the range of 55,000-60,000. Okay, whatever it is, I don't remember. But when you actually combine all facilities, etc., it actually moves 4 to 5 times. If you go by corporate accounting system, that means the government spends, if you go by the company's CTC per se, for a civil servant, the government will spend initially something to the tune of 3 to 3.5 lakhs. So तुमको जब गवर्नमेंट इतना सब कुछ देता है, जरूरत पड़ता है, ठीक है, वो तो आपका नीड देख लिया ना. करप्शन तब होता है जब ग्रीड होता है. कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है, दिल करता है उसमें से कुछ कर लूं, उसमें से कुछ कर लूं, फलाना कर लूं, और जिस दिन आपका ये ग्रीड के चक्कर में चला जाएगा, वहां से आपका डाउनफॉल होता है. सो चॉइस आपका है कि आप नीड से ग्रीड में जाना चाहते हो, नंबर 1. सेकेंडली, आप लाइफ में ऊपर रहना चाहते हो या तक नीचे गिरना चाहते हो. अगर दोनों चीज आपका मंजूर है, ठीक है, कि मैं नीड से ग्रिड नहीं जाऊंगा, मैं लाइफ को कभी नीचे आने नहीं दूंगा, यू से कि सर दिस विल हेल्प मी जस्ट टू रिमेन एब्सोल्युटली ऑनेस्ट, नॉट बिकम करप्ट. सिंपल एज दैट. ओके. हाँ, आर यू हैप्पी और नॉट? ओके.
Good afternoon, sir. Myself Prakriti. Sir, my question to you is that you said in communication there should be clarity in thoughts and there should be effective. But sir, what I am facing through is that I know the concept or the topic what I studied, but I am not able to convey the message with clarity. So how should we clear in the thoughts and conveying the message to others?
So your dilemma lies that मैं जानता हूँ मगर मैं बोल नहीं पाता हूँ.
Yes, sir.
अब बोलने की जब कोशिश कर जाता हूँ और कुछ हो जाता है ना?
Yes, sir, that's the issue I'm
ये है ना?
facing. Yes, sir.
है?
Yes, sir.
Okay. First, you should try to synchronize your thought process to very simple means. Okay. You go for a movie, picture. Let us take it. Take a good friend of yours. Okay. फिर आज ऐसा करेंगे, पिक्चर आने के बाद जो है, पिक्चर का स्टोरी मैं तुझे बोलूँगा, तू मुझे बोलना.
Okay, sir.
Try life situations. Okay. और ये पिक्चर में भी 3 hours, एक सीरियल देख लिया आपने, ठीक है? डोंट टॉक टू ईच अदर. अच्छा, इसका स्टोरी तू बोलना, उसका स्टोरी मैं बोल लूँगा. ओके, लिसन टू ईच अदर. तुम यू विल खुद रियलाइज दैट वेयर आर योर कम्युनिकेशन लिमिटेशंस. एंड वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट रीजन्स फॉर कम्युनिकेशन लिमिटेशन इज दैट हम उसको समझ नहीं पाते हैं ठीक तरीके से. कई चीज़ों नो, दैट्स वाई समटाइम हम बोलते हैं ना, वेरी गुड मूवी. Why do you all keep remembering the serial Ramayana by रामानंद सागर? देखो, आप उस टाइम पे पैदा भी नहीं थे जब वो टीवी सीरियल हुआ था, पर जैसे मैंने बताया रामायण, आपने फौरन बताया रामानंद सागर. और जब इतने सालों के बाद कोविड के टाइम पे उनको दिया गया था, ठीक है ना? सो हिज art of conveying things in the simplest term which will endear to our thought process and emotions so high. That is why he was one of the biggest directors. जितने भी मूवी इंडस्ट्री में दोगे, देखो, the big directors per se, this art of conveying complex issues into simple affairs, they are the masters of that. That's so called good directors. So they able to understand things properly. Similarly, चेक करो, शायद इसकी मैं शायद समझ नहीं पाऊँ. नंबर 1. सेकेंड इज कोहेरेंस नहीं होता है. आपको पहले अगर पिक्चर देखा है, शुरू वाला याद है, बीच वाला याद है, बीच में कुछ गायब हो गया. यू आर नॉट एबल टू लिंक द डॉट्स. ओके, सो ट्राई लिंकिंग डॉट्स इन नरेशन. इट इज ऑल थ्रू प्रैक्टिस. इट्स ऑल थ्रू प्रैक्टिस. एंड देर आर क्लासेस विच आर रन बाय पर्सनैलिटी डेवलपमेंट कोचेस, हाउ एग्जैक्टली टू इम्प्रूव दिस थिंग्स. यू कैन ट्राई टू जॉइन सच थिंग्स. मोस्ट प्रॉब्लम होता है कि वाई वी कांट स्पीक विथ क्लैरिटी इज पहले से. एंड exactly same thing happens during the course of answering, कि that many times क्वेश्चन जब बोला जाता है, आप आधे सुनते नहीं है. जैसे कुछ स्टार्ट हो गया, मानो इसे कि ओके, डिड यू अटेंड द G20, डिड यू हियर समथिंग कॉल्ड G20, या तो आप खुश हो जाते हो या पर मोरल डाउन हो जाता है. अगर आपने G20 पढ़ा है तो खुश हो जाते हो, हाँ अभी आ गया, ठीक है, अब G20 में नीचे मीटर खींच दूंगा, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. मगर वो G20 में वो जो पूछना चाहता वो नहीं पूछा, उसने और कुछ लिंक कर दिया. टेल मी, G20 आपने देखा है, डोंट यू थिंक दैट इट इज गोइंग टू बी ए चैलेंज टू द यूनाइटेड नेशंस फंक्शंस, बिकॉज ये 125 कंट्री है, वो 190 कंट्री है, और ये भी एक एजेंडा बना रहे, वो एक एजेंडा बना रहे. वो तो आपने सोचा नहीं था. आपने G20 का डेली डिक्लेरेशन अच्छी तरह से पढ़ लिया था, सब कुछ कर लिया, कितने लोग आए थे, क्या हुआ था, बाइडेन कैसे चल रहा था, वो कैसे चल रहा था, वो सब देख लिया आपने, ठीक है ना? ओके. मगर ये चीज आपने दिमाग नहीं डाला. ओके, बिकॉज यू हैव नॉट कॉम्प्रिहेंडेड द क्वेश्चंस प्रॉपरली. पहले कोर. इफ so listen to, similarly when you see a movie, see it, this thing, comprehend the firstly bigger story, then from there you come down to smaller story firstly.
Sir, one more question. Sir, as being a sports person, actually I am a sports person.
What do you play?
So boxing, but
Boxing?
so but
Which
from
weight?
last 3 years I am
featherweight or lightweight? क्या होता है?
sir featherweight.
Featherweight.
Sorry, lightweight.
Lightweight.
45 to 48 sir.
किसका नाक नहीं तोड़ा अभी तक तूने?
सर तोड़ा था, बट 3 साल से छोड़ रखा है मैंने because
भाई
of preparation.
इनसे थोड़ा दूर रहना क्लास वाले. हाँ, ओके. बता.
Sir, the qualities of the sports person can be used in the administration. So can I write in my DAF also that yeah I have that represented India also?
वही तो मैं बता रहा हूँ. अगर ये नहीं लिखोगे तो क्या लिखोगे? Have you represented India?
Yes sir, but not in boxing. It was in MMA, mixed martial arts on Thailand sir, in 2018.
Excellent. Excellent. We can't get a better candidate than this. Please write. Because by a person who volunteers to join the martial arts,
Yes.
okay, you are exhibiting so many qualities that you are firstly exhibiting courage, okay, you are able to take risks, you got a confidence to yourself. ये 3-4 quality तो यूं develop हो जाता है.
So that's what I'm going
You
for.
must mention, ठीक है, because you are one of those rare guys who have represented the country in the martial arts, and you're also still thinking of boxing. हमें तो नहीं मारना पाओगे ना? You don't want to hit me or something? नहीं.
Sir, actually, at the time of practice, both boys and girls are together on the ring. But mostly, my coach sahab is always in ki you have to fight with the boys only. So unke mukke bhi khaye.
Good.
but now,
Better.
3-4 years.
Have you answered?
Sorry, sir.
Have I answered your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Why ask this question? Why I told you this naak kyun nahi thoda karke? You see, when I joined the National Defence Academy, you heard of NDA?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. हमारा first term है, they called something called a novices boxing. Novice मतलब जो नए नए आए हैं, और उसकी जो opponent जो होता है वो lots by lots उठाए, तो उसमें कोई weight कोई चक्कर नहीं होता है, और you get to know only just before the bout. मैं इधर बैठा था और उस कोने में उधर बैठा था, और उस कोने में देखा एक हट्टे कट्टे जाट बैठा हुआ है. हमने बोला यार कितना, ऑफ कोर्स वी आर वेरी यंग, वी आर 17 years old at that time, बट मैं बोला कि इसको तो मार नहीं पाऊंगा बिकॉज ऑफ द रीच, आई कैन ओनली सेव माई सेल्फ. बट उसने एक से लगा ढक, माई नोज वेंट ठक, बट मैं छोड़ा नहीं मैंने उसको बाद में.
Very painful.
Yes, painful. Okay, but the fact lies is that yes, to learn boxing, to learn this thing, sometimes you got to go through this turmoil. Your nose will get broken, things will broken. This gentleman converting loss into asset. Okay, नाक तोड़ गया था, सब कुछ हो गया था, बाद हमने उसी जाट को खूब पीटा हमने, ठीक है ना? ओके. ओके, चलो.
गुड आफ्टरनून सर. सर मेरी कोई हॉबी नहीं है, पर मैं
बहुत अच्छा, वेरी गुड.
सर स्कूल टाइम से मैं काफ़ी एग्रेसिव था, तो मैं रेसलिंग करता था, वो घर वालों ने करने ही नहीं दी. मैं टाइकोंडो में स्टेट लेवल तक भी गया, फिर मैं वहाँ पे क्विट कर दिया, उनके बोलने से गया था. फिर मैं बास्केटबॉल में जोनल लेवल तक गया, फिर वहाँ पे मैंने क्विट कर दिया. अब मेरी कोई हॉबी नहीं है, मैं क्रिकेट खेलता था, वो उन्होंने छुड़वा दिया था. तो सर अब मेरी कोई हॉबी नहीं है, बस मेरा मन करता है कि मतलब मैंने DOPT में काम किया हुआ है, एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी के पास, उनके पर्सनल स्टाफ में था मैं. तो उनसे मैंने काफ़ी चीज़ें सीखी. तो मैंने जब कोविड में जॉब छोड़ी, तो उसके बाद मेरी कोई हॉबी नहीं है, बस फिर मैं उसके बाद स्टडी कर रहा था. ग्रेजुएशन अभी हुई है रिसेंटली. तो मेरी कोई हॉबी नहीं है, बस मैं चाहता हूँ कि मतलब खाली टाइम में मैं अपनी बाइक उठाता हूँ और मैं कहीं भी निकल जाता हूँ. मैं मसूरी तक चला गया, देहरादून चला गया, ऋषिकेश चला गया, मतलब घर पे नहीं बताता हूँ. तो ये सर क्या मैं इसको हॉबी में लिख सकता हूँ कि मतलब ऐसे?
आप दिल से जाते हो, किसी कंपनी से जाते हो? दिल से जाते हो.
अकेले
यस. तो जब वहाँ पर जब मसूरी जाते हो तो क्या देखते
सब
हो?
लवासना ही देखता
हैं?
हूँ. लवासना देखता हूँ. लवासना सर.
क्या देखते हो?
ट्रेनिंग सेंटर, IAS ट्रेनिंग.
ओहो, ख्वाब ख्वाब है, वो ख्वाब में मत रहना.
नहीं सर, ख्वाब सर
ठीक
मैं
है.
मतलब कहीं भी निकल जाता हूँ मैं, फिर साउथ की तरफ. अब
नहीं, my point here is by merely the process of moving out is something which is trying to basically trigger in your body. Okay, that means you love traveling. The first thing is you love traveling.
Yes sir.
But you don't love traveling with a purpose. ठीक है ना, कि मैं वहाँ पर जाके पहाड़ देखूँ, कि वहाँ में
सर
जाके
वो मैं मसूरी में जाके कर रहा था.
मसूरी में पहाड़ देखते हो? तुम तो बड़ी एकेडमी देख रहे थे.
सर वहाँ गया, फिर उससे आगे चला गया मैं.
Okay, what I want to, I'm just trying to converge your this thing just to help you out is that, and this could be a passion that I love traveling. I love traveling to hills. I enjoy the mountains. Okay, I enjoy the atmosphere there in the hill areas. Hence, one of your hobbies could be that I love traveling to mountains.
Yes sir.
Okay, I love traveling to mountains. But don't ever come out in the interview saying कि मैं बास्केटबॉल खेलना चाहे, मेरे घर वाले ने रोक दिया, वो फलाने मुझे. It puts you into a negative, because इसका मतलब है कि you don't have a decision making power of your own. You are totally influenced by your parents. ये कभी कभी बच्चे, students keep telling you to draw sympathy. in the interview board, sir मैं actually करना चाहता था मगर मेरे my mother didn't allow, मेरे बाप ने allow नहीं किया.
वो सब मैं सर करना नहीं चाहता था, वो
हैं?
उनके बोलने से करना पड़ा.
So if see we are a traditional family society where there is lot of job insecurity, parents will always tell you यार तू पहले तो नौकरी कर लिया, बाद में तू सोच लेना जो भी करना है. Okay, which as we evolve in society, this is going to change. Let me tell you, it's already changing in urban areas. It's already changing in urban areas. Parents are no longer bothered in the whether तुम ये A कर रहे हो, B कर रहे हो, C कर रहे हो, because there is a financial stability in most of the urban areas. But it's still not in large parts of India, where still the people have to actually struggle to make two ends meet. So there the parents are very insecure. So parents बोलते हैं या तू जो भी कर, तू कोचिंग कर, फलाना कर, ये कर, तू या तू नौकरी कर ले तू पहले. लोग ज़मीनें बेच देते हैं, घर बेच देते हैं, सब कुछ करते हैं, कोशिश करते हैं यार मेरा बच्चा जो है कम से कम जो है कहीं पर अच्छा नौकरी कर ले. Because these are aspirations of a India, a growing India, where we still have a large amount of people who are not very well to do in life. Once this line keep getting increased and so, ये blur हो जाएगा. आप US में चले जाओ, कनाडा में चले जाओ, इंग्लैंड में चले जाओ, थोड़ी बंदे भागते रहते हैं ये एम्प्लॉयमेंट के पीछे. नो, कोई बोलता है मैं पेंटिंग करूँगा, उसका बाप बोलता चल यार तो पेंटिंग कर, बिकॉज ही नोज तो वो भूखे नहीं मरेगा. ठीक है, पर यहाँ पर तो कुछ करो नहीं तो तुम भूखे मर जाओगे. That's why parents tell you. But if parents tell you, that not necessarily should override your passions and your likeness of life. Shouldn't happen. I studied in military school, let me tell you. I joined NDA. 15 days later, my elder brother landed up in Khadagwasla, Pune. बोलता कि your fathers told you leave NDA and come back. ऐसे क्यों यार? Hell of a bloody thing. तो उसने मुझे एक चिट्ठी दिखाया. बोलता देख तेरा वो सिलेक्शन आ गया इधर IIT खड़गपुर में. उस टाइम पे तो जो एग्जाम आता वो दे देते थे हम. तो हमने बोला बड़ा मुश्किल है. सो उसको क्या हमने रात को बंक मारा NDA से to agree to my father. पुणे में रेलवे स्टेशन में बैठा, 2 स्टेशन गया, खड़की में उतरा है और वापस हम इंडिया में आ गए. बिकॉज मेरा पैशन था टू जॉइन द डिफेंस फोर्सेस. हाँ, बिकॉज बेटर IQ दिस दैट, पढ़ाई बड़ी अच्छा था, वो भी हो गया, एग्जाम IIT में हो गया. दैट्स अ डिफरेंट इशू. बट आई डिड नॉट लिसन टू माई डैड्स दिस थिंग. एंड इट वॉज व्हेन 50 years back or 40 years back. Okay, and my father didn't come from a very well-to-do family. So, जिंदगी में कभी डिसीजन लेना पड़ता है ना, okay, दम का डिसीजन लेना पड़ता है, चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए. This I've seen in my entire life of in combat. Let me tell you, okay, where I've seen people dying and moving ahead and so and so, or in administration and civil services or anywhere for that matter. एक जिंदगी में रखो, एक डिसीजन आपने लिया ना, उसको ऊपर कायम रखना है, चाहे दुनिया भी हिल जाए. ज़्यादा फेलियर होगा ना, उससे ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं होगा. जब अगर बाई चांस फेलियर हो, इन चीज़ों में फेलियर बहुत कम होता है. इनफैक्ट गॉड फॉरबिड अगर फेलियर हो जाता है, बोलता है आई हैव टेकन अ डिसीजन, I am the sole person. I have taken a decision. I will now steer my life. But इस दौरान के जर्नी के अंदर आपकी इतनी पर्सनालिटी डेवलप हो गया होगा बिकॉज ऑफ द स्ट्रॉन्ग डिटर्मिनेशन. लेट मी टेल यू, यू कैन गेट फिक्स्ड इन एनी सर्विस फॉर सम रीजन. अगर सिविल सर्विस नहीं हुआ तो कभी ये मत सोचना. पर्सनालिटी डेवलपमेंट का ये बड़ा फायदा होता है कि अगर फॉर सम रीजन आई डोंट मेक एंड व्हिच विल हैपन इन अ कॉम्पिटिशन, इन अ vacancy of 1,000 out of 5 lakhs, many will not make it. 5 लाख पीपल अपेयर करते हैं, 1,000 का वैकेंसी होता है, तो बाकी सब क्या दुनिया में बेकार हो जाएंगे? सो यही मौका है कि पर्सनालिटी डेवलपमेंट करने के लिए. ओके, sit down. So I'll go to the next this thing. So having said this, from the, today we take little longer time than I have, but the thing that the question you generally, the other quality that you start looking for is your ability to be aware of things, national issues, international issues, जिसको बोलते हैं general awareness. Okay, now when you talk of general awareness per se, अगर आप अभी से तैयारी कर रहे हो, अगर आपकी मेंस क्लियर है, प्रीलिम्स क्लियर है, whatever it is, you have to at least see the current affairs events for last minimum 3 years. 3 साल का जो करंट अफेयर्स आपके उंगली में होना चाहिए. एंड आउट ऑफ, बिकॉज करंट अफेयर्स इतना वास्ट होता है, उसमें से थिंग्स विच आर गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज, कोई नई एक्ट आया है, जैसे कि फिलहाल के लिए देयर इज इलेक्शन रिफॉर्म्स विच इज बीइंग कंटेम्पलेटेड नाउ, देयर इज लॉट ऑफ, देयर इज अ डिजिटल प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट विच इज रिसेंटली कम अप, न्यू क्रिमिनल लॉज एक्ट विच इज नाउ बीइंग कंटेम्पलेटेड. अगर ऐसे आप ढूंढोगे 2-3 साल के अंदर जो है, आपको कितने बड़े बड़े ऐसे गवर्नमेंट एक्ट रेगुलेशंस आएंगे जो कि पब्लिक सर्विस के लिए काफी फायदेमंद था, which basically help you in governance. Obviously women reservation is one of them. But गवर्नमेंट बहुत सारी चीज निकालता है, but it is humanly not possible to remember everything. आप शॉर्टलिस्ट करो कि जो कि पब्लिक सर्विस के लिए लागू है, डिलीवरी सिस्टम्स, एजुकेशन सिस्टम्स, हेल्थ सिस्टम्स. ओके, अभी हेल्थ के कई रूल्स निकले हुए, एजुकेशन नई एनईपी निकल गया, एनईपी के बाद नेशनल करिकुलम फ्रेमवर्क, वो भी एक आ गया. ओके, ओपनिंग ऑफ द एजुकेशन सेक्टर, स्मार्ट क्लासेस in policy for smart education. So many things are moving rapidly in this core sectors of governance, that is education and health. Ayushman aa gaya, Ayurvedic things aa gaya, homeopathic aa gaya. So many things are coming up. And government is sensitive to large amount of these issues, for which it is trying to bring out lot of provisions in the system. Constitution हो गया, एक्ट हो गया, रूल्स हो गए, फलाना हो गए. Now those are the things you should remember in a fingertip. International events, major international events, at least in last 2 years. Domestic कितना? 3 years. International 2 years. This should form the major component of your preparation of general awareness. Number 1. Number 2, having said this, that you should be aware of the general awareness, more important is not the facts. Important is analysis of the facts. Just I asked this girl, somebody recently, yes, G20 हो गया, but let's take G20 का major decision लिया कि एक मिडिल ईस्ट कॉरिडोर होगा, इकोनॉमिक कॉरिडोर. They've decided ना, इंडिया, सऊदी अरेबिया, ओके, वहां से होते हुए सीधा यूरोप जाएगा. दिस इज अ फैक्ट. ओके, ये डिसाइड हो गया, या फलाना हुआ, जो भी कुछ होगा. बट व्हाट implication it will have? What are the economic implications? What are the political implications? How much it is going to impact? और एक ऐसा चल रहा है दुनिया में, और क्या चल रहा है, कौन कर रहा है इसको? चाइना. चाइना क्या कर रहा है? BRI, बेल्ट रोड इनिशिएटिव कर रहा है, नहीं कर रहा है? वो बोलेगा ये तो इट इज गोइंग टू अफेक्ट मी. हाउ इज दैट गोइंग टू गेट इम्पैक्टेड? ओके, हु इज डूइंग द फंडिंग? चाइना के पास तो खुद पैसा था, उसने लगा दिया BRI में. इसको फंडिंग कौन करेगा? हमने बताया कि IMF करेगा, वर्ल्ड बैंक करेगा, बट जब तक उनके रूल चेंज नहीं होता है, IMF, वर्ल्ड बैंक, बिकॉज उन्होंने, जैसे बैंक आपको पैसा देता है ना, लोन लिया आपने कभी? नहीं. नाक में दम कर देंगे, भाई लोन 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 लो. तो जब वहां पर बैंक में पहुंच जाओगे, आपको 50 सर्टिफिकेट मांग लेंगे, डॉक्यूमेंट्स. सिमिलरली बैंक जब पैसा देता है, उसकी वो होता है, तो इसको कैसे पैसे देंगे? So there are functional issues which come up, which you must read. उसका फाइनेंस कौन देगा? देयर इज अ कॉन्फ्रेंस, इज दैट्स व्हाई इट्स हैपनिंग इन नवंबर ऑफ द वर्ल्ड फाइनेंशियल मल्टीलैटरल इंस्टीट्यूशंस, ओके, इन पेरिस. They are going to decide on this particular issue. क्या होगा? China is closely watching that. अच्छा, बोल तो दिया इकोनॉमिक कॉरिडोर बनेंगे, पैसे कहाँ से लेंगे देखता हूँ मैं. उसने तो डायरेक्टली अपने पैसे लगा दिया. ये सब कंट्री मिलके बोल रहे हैं. उसमें सिर्फ 2 कंट्री है who have got financial sovereignty. एक सऊदी अरेबिया और दूसरा जो which is other Arabic, UAE. इन दोनों के पास पैसे है. इंडिया बोलता है उसमें इंडिया के पास इतना पैसा नहीं है. बाकी यूरोप में तो ऐसे ही लोग प्रॉब्लम में है. कौन उसको फंडिंग करेगा? यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट? सो ये जो शटल पॉइंट्स है एक छोटा सा मिडिल ईस्ट इकोनॉमिक कॉरिडोर से, अगर आप अच्छी तरह से तैयारी कर लोगे, ओके, और यू गिव योर ओन ओपिनियन ऑन दिस इशू कि सर दिस इज अ फैक्ट, बट इन माई ओपिनियन the advantages are this, we will have a connectivity, we will have this, so and so, but the disadvantages are this. And I think the world, but don't be pessimistic while replying, but I think the world is working on it. जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, there is already a economic multilateral institutions conference is there, people have so and so करके. Saudi Arabia himself has said that it will donate and create a sovereign fund, because फायदा तो उसका होगा ना. सामान यूरोप से आएगा, यहाँ से आएगा, सारे कंटेनर उधर मिलेंगे, तो पैसे तो उसको मिलेगा ना. चार्जेस ऑफ हैंडलिंग कंटेनर्स, उनकी एम्प्लॉयमेंट बढ़ेगी, सब कुछ बढ़ेगी. यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? ऐसा तो हवा सारे थाउजेंड्स एंड थाउजेंड्स ऑफ कंटेनर्स विल गो, हवा में तो नहीं जाएगा ना. इट हैज़ टू गेट डीएम्बार्क फ्रॉम अ पोर्ट से निकलकर बाय लैंड जाएगा. तो लैंड में जब जाएगा तो गाड़ियों में जाएगा, तो गाड़ियों में जब जाएगा तो उनके ड्राइवर चलाएंगे, ठीक है, उनको इकोनॉमी मिलेगी, बढ़ेगी. उस तरफ दूसरे पोर्ट में वो होगा. सो ऑल दिस थिंग्स एट द मोमेंट देयर इज ट्रांजिट ऑफ गुड्स इन वन कंट्री, द कंट्री एक्चुअली यूज गेन्स लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स. सो सऊदी अरेबिया के पास पैसा है प्लस उसका इनकम होगा. इट्स सो दे आर इन अ विन विन सिचुएशन. इंडिया में से तो सामान जाएगा, यहाँ से ट्रांजिट नहीं हो रहा है, वो भी गुजरात के वहाँ मुद्रा पोर्ट से जाएगा. बॉम्बे वालों को नहीं मिलेगा, गुजरात वालों को पैसा मिलेगा. वो सोच लो क्यों जा रहा है, ठीक है ना. नाउ प्रॉब्लम आ जाएगा, ये कभी इजराइल हमास का प्रॉब्लम. But when you all reply, maybe situation would have changed. What I want to say is that as on today, if you are appearing for interview and tomorrow asking, oh my God, everybody is saying कि भाई economic corridor, but क्या implications क्या है उसका? So unless you analyze it on the positive and the negative side, you will not be able to give opinions. आप सिर्फ fact बता दोगे. Fact बताना बहुत आसान होता है. सर G20 हुआ था, उसमें इतने countries आए थे, इस डेट से इस डेट हुआ है, और जो कि सरकार आजकल बहुत ज़बरदस्त बोली जा रहा है कि हमने कितने हाउ मेनी सिटीज़ और समथिंग आई डोंट नो 80 cities दिस दैट हर स्टेट में किया है. व्हाट एवर इट इज, दोज एवरीबडी नोज. बट व्हाट पीपल डोंट नो इन द इंटरव्यू बोर्ड कि ये चलेगा या नहीं चलेगा. अगर वो आप अच्छी तरह से एक ओपिनियन दे दोगे ना, मैं आपको गारंटी देता हूँ you will be in the upper bracket. This is how it makes a difference in the interview board. और ये तैयारी जो है सिर्फ इंटरव्यू के बाद, सॉरी मेन रिजल्ट के बाद नहीं होता है, बिकॉज ऐसे कई इश्यूज हैं जिसको आपको पहले से तैयारी करके रखना पड़ेगा, पढ़ना पड़ेगा, रिहर्स करना पड़ेगा, और आपको सही समय वो बोलना पड़ेगा. आई एम गिविंग वन एग्जाम्पल ऑफ रिसेंट हैपनिंग. सेकेंड G20 हुआ, अफ्रीकन यूनियन was included in this with 55 countries. So what? What benefit is got? You should be able to analyze the importance of Africa in times to come. Africa's population is rising while the rest of the world population is decreasing. It is estimated that Africa population will touch 1.6 billion by 2050, and Indian population will stabilize around 1.3. Chinese population will go down to around 850 million people. The Europe will stabilize around 700 to 800 million people. So in the demographic pattern of the world, Africa will be the most populous country. Africa presently has got a GDP of about $2.1 trillion. By 2050 or let's say 2030, it may touch about $6 to $7 trillion. So it will be in the top 5 economies of the world. It's got so much of critical elements. Cobalt. I had a UN tenure in Congo, I remember. It alone, Congo has got world's 70% of कोबाल्ट, जो कि उस टाइम पे कोबाल्ट को कोई सोचता नहीं था, हम जब थे वहां पर. टुडे कोबाल्ट इज अ मेजर इंग्रेडिएंट फॉर इलेक्ट्रिकल व्हीकल्स. Similarly, there are so many critical materials which are in Africa. So Africa is going to become important. So the moment we get G20 entangled into it, one of the biggest benefits is going to be India, because India is going to do a large amount of business there. And India is an emerging economy, is a growing economy. We're already 3.5 trillion. We're expected to become 5 trillion in under 5-6 years. There's an emerging economy. So our emerging economy can easily interface with African economy. We just have to go across the ocean. Convincing, not convincing? मोदी ने नहीं सोचा, हमने सोचा है उसको. This is how you have to build up answers. I'm just giving an example. You getting my point? Because this is fresh in your mind. G20 is fresh in your mind. Out of the 112 outcomes, I just picked up 2 outcomes. That is the issue of corridor and the issue. Similarly, climate ko upar hai, sustainable development ko upar hai, falana, lot of things are there. Kitne kar payenge, I don't know. We take pride that 84 paragraphs and 112 outcomes. But the fact is, we have to see what is implemented. So you as analytical mind should be able to say, sir, इसमें से yes अच्छा बन जाएगा, but इसमें प्रॉब्लम है. हाँ बेटे, क्यों बताओ प्रॉब्लम क्यों है? अगर आपने 1-2 क्वेश्चन तैयारी किया है अच्छी तरह से, आपने जवाब दे दिया, बिकॉज शायद आपको 3-4 मिनट मिलेगा G20 का अगर अटर हुआ है तो. दैट विल मेक द डिफरेंस कंप्लीटली. बिकॉज जो हम जानना चाहते थे कैंडिडेट्स के अंदर कि इसके अंदर एनालिटिकल, लॉजिकल, रीजनिंग माइंड है या नहीं है, आपको मिल गया. और उसके बाद जो है आपको इंटरव्यू चलेगा. हाँ बताओ, क्या आपको हॉबी था, कैसे घर में सब कुछ ठीक ठाक है, ठीक है नहीं है, आपके अच्छे दोस्त कौन है, फलाना कौन है. बिकॉज जो हमको एसेस करना था हम कर लिए. कभी कभी कैंडिडेट्स आते बोलते आप मुझे तो कुछ पूछा नहीं यार. फिर पूछा कि भाई तेरे दोस्त कौन है बताओ, तेरे फलाना कौन है बताओ. इधर इज डन टू वेल और ही इज फ्लॉप्ड. We don't want to send candidates after 5-10 minutes because people think bad कि मैंने ठीक नहीं किया करके. So इसलिए गपशप मारते रहते हैं कभी कभी. But the issue is that if you have exhibited these qualities of logical reasoning, cognitive mindset, analytics, etc., which leads to decision making, or for that matter crisis management. अभी सिक्किम में इतना बड़ा क्या आ गया? What is the flood cloud? है? ग्लेशियल फ्लड तीस्ता रिवर के ऊपर. एनटीपीसी का प्रोजेक्ट था, बड़ा सा डैम बना था, हो गया ना. बट क्यों हुआ? अगली बार क्यों नहीं होना चाहिए? व्हाट कैन यू डू? इट्स नॉट ओनली तीस्ता. इफ यू सी द पैटर्न, इट्स हैपनिंग इन द नॉर्दर्न हिमालयस. Okay, it's happened in Sikkim, it will happen in Bhutan, it will happen in Uttarakhand, it will happen so and so. So there is this lower Himalayas which has been so sensitive to the seismic belt in the past, because we are the Himalayas are a young mountains and it still continues to move. So इस तरफ से उनका जो है sedimentation बड़ा कम होता है, and it has got large amount of glacial lakes unlike any other mountain ranges of the world. I'm just giving offhand because I mean, as far as geography is concerned. But the issue is that these are the reasons, A, B, C, D, E. Sir, is karan ke liye, in my opinion, it has happened. But to prevent this, we need to do A, B, C, D, E. You getting my point? So anything that you get, you have to convey this issue. So these are the basically direct analytical questions on general awareness, which will form nearly 60% of your questions answers. Domestic, international, and so on. The other set of questions that will come to you are in the form of social justice, empowerment, and crisis management. Because we would like that future public servants to know what is their aptitude and attitude and disposition towards social issues, disability issues, injustice, gender discrimination, caste issues. So you need to build up your information on these issues. And last but not the least is the crisis management. They'll ask you situational questions. आप कलेक्टर हो, आप एसपी हो, you are an income tax officer, you are a foreign service officer. Okay, situations should be posed to you. Many situations are given in the books or otherwise so and so, because that's require concerted class of situational questions. And sometime to lift you up. Lift you up in the sense, supposing you are moving the range of 130, 140. Total marks कितना है interview में? 275. And we want to take you up. Then we'll put you little hard and difficult questions. And those are mostly in the form of analytics or in crisis management. Just to see whether you got a higher developed cognitive mind or a decision-making power. So there is a lot of scope for you that even if you have in the range of 130, 140, 150, you can elevate yourself to the level of 170, 180. And through these two issues of your cognitive power and general awareness and social justice. सारा आपके हाथ में, मेरे हाथ में कुछ नहीं है. मेरा मतलब बोर्ड की बात पर करो. आप बोलोगे, नंबर ले लो. और थोड़ा सा रिस्क भी लेना पड़ता है. प्ले लाइक ए T20 प्लेयर. आपने देखा है ऋषभ पंत और को घुमाते 360 डिग्री वाला क्या है? सूर्य कुमार यादव है ना वो? हाँ, इंक्लूडिंग विराट कोहली and all great players. You see the amount of risk they take. आजकल वो 1s and 2s सब निकल गया है. मारूंगा तो छक्का मारूंगा, चौका मारूंगा. लाइफ में वही रफ्तार लीजिए. बाउंड्री लाइन को छोटा मत करिए. बाउंड्री उतना ही रहने दीजिए, मगर बाउंड्री लाइन को क्रॉस करने के लिए आपको उतना आपको कैपेबिलिटी को बढ़ाना चाहिए जिससे आप आराम से छक्का मार सके. विराट कोहली का हाथ देखा आपने कितना मोटा है? देखा है ना? नहीं देखा है? रोज वेट करता है, सब कुछ करता है. ठीक है. ऑल दिस स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन्स हु एक्सेल इन लाइफ, लेट मी टेल यू, तेंदुलकर, मास्टर ऑफ रीडिंग द बॉल. मतलब वो बॉलर के हाथ से जब तक वो बॉल छूटा नहीं है, उसको पूरा मालूम होता है कि इसका पिच इधर पड़ेगा, बाउंस इधर पड़ेगा, वेदर इज गोइंग टू बी अ शॉर्ट पिच बॉल और अ लॉन्ग वन. दैट वाज हिज ब्यूटी. सो आपको उसी मुताबिक आपको रीड करना पड़ेगा कि ये इंटरव्यू बोर्ड में मुझे कैसे क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे. क्वेश्चन उनके मुंह से निकलने से पहले आपको उतना रीड करना पड़ेगा कि भैया कैसे क्वेश्चन आ रहा है, या क्या लाइकली हो सकता है. दिस इज कॉल्ड एंटिसिपेशन. सो ये सब तैयारी जो मैंने इतनी चीज बताया, क्या इमीडिएटली आफ्टर मेंस के बाद हो सकता है? जोर से बोलो, हाँ या नहीं? ओके. तो इसके लिए जिंदगी में जितने जल्दी स्टार्ट करोगे, स्पेशली पर्सनैलिटी, बिकॉज बाकी चीज़ तो आप हिस्ट्री पढ़े होगे, इंटरनेशनल पढ़े होगे, स्कूल में पढ़े होगे, कॉलेज में पढ़े होगे, उसको थोड़ा सा रफ अप करके पास हो जाओगे. इसको किसने पढ़ाया? किसने तो पढ़ाया नहीं आपको. क्यों बात सही नहीं है? व्हाट्स अ गुड नेम? शुभम. क्या वंडरफुल नाम है. So this requires deliberate practice and improvement. So I finished what I wanted to tell you. Just to sum it up, I just told you exactly that what is the requirement as far as the interviews are concerned, what is the importance of a DAF, what is the importance of the various questions that is going to come up, and how you should, what is it that the board looks for you, what are the qualities they look for you, what are the type of questions, what type of answers, and how do you answer. And if you follow this deliberately and with a lot of caution, there's no way that will not be able to clear or get good marks in the final stage of the civil services, that is your interview or the personality test. Thank you very much. Is there any questions? We'll take a couple of them, otherwise you can wind up possibly. सारे क्वेश्चन खत्म हो गया. अच्छा,
Sir, this side Dipshikha Gupta. Sir, I want to ask.
What Gupta?
Dipshikha Gupta.
दीपशिखा.
Yes.
आजकल बड़े आसान होते थे, पहले दीपिका होते थे, शिखा होते थे, आजकल मिला देते हैं. ओके चलो दीपशिखा.
Yes sir. सर मुझे पूछना है, जैसे आपने बताया करंट अफेयर्स से रिलेटेड, तो अगर हमने तैयारी की है बट अगर बाई चांस उससे क्वेश्चंस नहीं आते और हमें जानकारी नहीं है, तो वी हैव हर्ड कि आप पोलाइटली सॉरी बोल दो और आप इन अ वे यू से दैट यू डोंट नो, आई विल रीड बाय गोइंग बैक. तो सर इसे जेन्युइनली हमें कैसे बोलना चाहिए? इफ वी आर
You say कि sir, somehow or the other I did not have access to information on this issue, but if you know something, you can always say कि sir, I do not have a full knowledge of what you asked, okay, but if you permit me, I can share, I can tell you what I know, but it may not be a full answer if you permit me. Okay, if the okay, जो आपको बता दो, that's not bad. एकदम clean ball हो जाता है, कुछ नहीं मालूम है, बात अलग है. I'm sorry sir, I'm not aware of this. Can I have the next question?
Okay, sir, if you have like a partial knowledge also, we can say by
Yes.
taking their permission.
In fact, there's always better, because बहुत कम सवाल ऐसे होते हैं जिसके कि पूरी आंसर आपको जानकारी होती है. Frankly speaking,
Yes sir.
very rarely I come across people. Okay, so try in a very, very sober manner, deliberate manner. Okay, and say, sir, I think I will try. I don't know. But if you don't use this for every questions, but if you know, yes sir, I give me a little time. You can always take time to think also. ऐसे नहीं कि बोलते बोलते मुझे वापस रेस्पॉन्स करना है, जवाब देना, वो नहीं है. सर कैन आई टेक टाइम टू थिंक सर? सोचो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. वी आर ऑल पेशेंट पीपल. ठीक है ना, बाल बाल ऐसे गिर गए, ठीक है. वी हैव लॉट ऑफ पेशेंस, राइट? सो यू कैन ऑलवेज थिंक, पॉज, पर ज़्यादा पॉज मत करना. ठीक है, कई के सो जाते हैं सोचते सोचते, कहीं को उठाना पड़ता है, भाई उठ जाओ. मैं यूपीएससी नहीं देखो, पर स्टेट पीएस में कई बार देखा हूँ. ठीक है, एक्चुअली बंदे सो जाते हैं, सर मुझे थोड़ा सा टाइम दो.
सर रियली?
हाँ रियली, बिकॉज द टेंशन इतना होता है ना. See, when you sit down in the chair, there's so much of tension. Okay, it's something like a war, you know, really life and death. It's
यस सर. सर उस टाइम पे कंट्रोल कैसे करेंगे? लाइक जैसे आपने बोला कि हम डर जाते हैं.
Eye contact. Always keep eye contact with the interview board. Okay, keep जो क्वेश्चन पूछा रहा है, keep looking directly at him. ये नहीं कि क्वेश्चन मैं पूछ रहा हूँ, आप दूसरों को देख रहे हो. इसका मतलब you are showing non-confidence. The moment you establish eye contact with the person that is who is asking questions to you, okay, and I have seen many कि that question आपको पूछा जाता है, ठीक है, आप जवाब दूसरे को देते हो. मतलब नथिंग रॉन्ग, द एंटायर बोर्ड लिसन्स, बट मैं क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा हूँ, आप मुझे जवाब दीजिए.
ओके सर.
गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? कई लोग कीप रिप्लाइंग ऐसे ही, इधर से आंख उधर से आंख फलाना. नो, नो डेमिनर. यू आर सिटिंग देयर फॉर अ पर्पस. तुम्हारा एग्जाम्स हो रहा है यार. यू आर नॉट गोइंग फॉर ए सोशल पर्पस देयर. ठीक है ना? एग्जाम हो रहा है. Every moment, every action, every response entails you to get marks. So whatever is there, you must do it. But ये जरूरी है कि tense रहो,
Yes.
informal रहो, but that is a simple. Lot of people dress themselves in a very different manner. Jeans पहन के आ जाएंगे, फलाना करने आ जाएंगे, and you keep justifying it. सर आजकल तो सारे लोग जीन पहनते हैं, जीन में क्या खराबी है? कलेक्टर लोग भी पहनते हैं, स्टीव जॉब भी पहनता है, तो मेरा क्या प्रॉब्लम हो गया? स्टीव जॉब से तो मैं ऊपर नहीं हूँ जीन्स और टी शर्ट पहनने में. नो, देयर इज ए डेकोरम इन एवरीथिंग. ओके, देयर इज ए डेकोरम इन एवरीथिंग. अगर आपको मार्क्स नहीं मिलता बात अलग है. शादी में चले जाओ जीन्स पहन, आई मीन उल्टे सुल्टे पहन के, कोई पूछता नहीं है आपको. कॉलेज में आ जाओ, कोई प्रॉब्लम तो है नहीं है. ओके, बट व्हेन इट इज एन एग्जामिनेशन, यू मस्ट अंडरस्टैंड दैट्स एन एग्जामिनेशन, जिसके एवरी एक्शन ऑफ योर्स इज गेटिंग असेस्ड. आप कैसे चलते हो, आप कैसे बढ़ते हो, आप कैसे ग्रेटिट्यूड दिखाते हो इन टर्म्स ऑफ थैंक यू एंड एवरीथिंग, आप कैसे आंखें हिलाते हो, फलाना करते हो. ओके, हाउ यू स्टार्ट द कन्वर्सेशन, राइट? एवरी पर्सन थिंक 275 मार्क कोई कम नहीं होता है. दे फाइट फॉर 275. ओके, हाँ, कोई कम नहीं होता है.
सर वन मोर क्वेश्चन. सर जो को करिकुलर एक्टिविटीज़ एज यू सेड लाइक क्लास मॉनिटर आप थे या प्रीफेक्ट थे या हाउस कैप्टन्स थे, सर फॉर दैट तो वी डिडंट गेट एनी सर्टिफिकेट. उनके लिए उन सब चीज़ों के लिए तो सर सर्टिफिकेशन
वो बता दें. आई थिंक आस्क्ड द क्वेश्चन, वी आंसर्ड दिस क्वेश्चन. यू डोंट हैव टू डू दिस. यू डोंट हैव टू डू सर्टिफिकेट. मिल जाता है डिबेट का तो यूँ मिल जाता है. फर्स्ट इन डिबेट एक्सटेम्परी वगैरह तो मिल ही जाता है. जो मिल जाता है उसको रख लो. नहीं है
सर. बैचेस होते हैं लाइक प्रीफेक्ट.
Whatever it is, there is an element of faith.
Yes sir.
Because you are taking you as class 1 officers, so there is a level of confidence that what you are saying is possibly true. We start from a premise that you are telling truth, unless you prove that you are telling a lie.
Yes.
जो कि आराम से निकल जाता है, बहुत आराम से निकल जाता है. बिकॉज 2-3 अगर आप झूठ बोल रहे हो, 2-3 इंट्रिकेट क्वेश्चन हम पूछ लेते हैं, पता लगता है झूठ बोलते हैं, बट हम दिखाते नहीं हैं. देयर इज नो फेशियल एक्सप्रेशन. वी डोंट टेल यू ऑन अ फेस यू आर टेलिंग अ लाई. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट.
यस सर.
आपको सिर्फ नंबर कम कर देते हैं.
सर वही तो मेन है. सर वही तो मेन है. वही तो मेन है, नंबर ही तो
वही है. ठीक है ना? तो इसलिए झूठ मत बोलना. डोंट टेल लाई. ओके, राइट.
एक और छोटी सी.
अरे दूसरों को पूछने दो. और क्यों है क्या? हाँ, वो तो.
Good afternoon, sir. My question is that basically that I am pursuing my graduation and I am currently in second year, and I have 2 more years to write my first attempt. So I want to ask you that what are the things that I need to include in my preparation to go for the best attempt in the very first attempt should be the very it's the good attempt. So I want to ask that what are the things that I need to include in my preparations.
अभी तो फर्स्ट ईयर में, सेकंड ईयर में?
Sir, I just got my results of first year and I am in second year now.
इसका जवाब मैडम से पूछ लेना, संजना सर. ठीक है ना? अभी इट्स टू अर्ली इन लाइफ. ठीक है ना?
Yes sir.
We'll decide as to, right?
Okay, thank you sir.
Because it will take others people time.
Okay sir.
Okay.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, while introducing...
Have you enrolled yourself here or you just come like this? नहीं, but फर्स्ट ईयर करके कैसा हुक्म यू एनरोल? कॉलेज में लेटर नहीं करते क्या? अच्छा, ओके.
Sir, while introducing you, ma'am mentioned that you have a background in psychology. So, as a person who has a background in psychology, what do you see in a candidate when he walks in the room till he leaves?
We don't see, the candidate himself exhibits. अगर वो सीधा कॉन्फिडेंटली चलता है तो ही इज़ अ कॉन्फिडेंट पर्सन. ओके, अगर वो पैर उसका दाहिने में ऐसा होता है, ठीक है ना, राइट हो, दैट मीन्स देयर इज लैक ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस. बैठे बैठे अगर हाथ हमेशा ऐसा करता रहता है, ठीक है ना, देयर सम पीपल स्पेशली गर्ल्स आई फाइंड ऐसा होता है, ठीक है ना. ओके, वाई गर्ल्स का, बिकॉज देयर लेवल ऑफ एंग्जाइटी इज लिटिल मोर. अब देखोगे अगर एंग्जाइटी लेवल ज़्यादा है ना, ऐसा होगा. पीपल आर वेरी हाई एंग्जाइटी, हैव यू सीन दिस पीपल लाइक दिस. ओके, तो ऐसा होता है. देन दे विल कीप शफलिंग ऑन द सीट्स, राइट. 2-3 ग्लास पानी पी लेंगे पहले सर कैन आई हैव अ ग्लास ऑफ वाटर प्लीज. ओके, so there are clear physical indicators of person who exhibit level of anxieties. तो उसको कंट्रोल करना पड़ेगा आपको प्रैक्टिस करके.
And sir, one more. Sir, I haven't given any interviews yet, but I have read so many interview transcripts of toppers. So in few of the interviews, they mentioned that their interview is dominated by factual questions. So when interview is dominated by factual questions, so how board members judge their crisis management and emotional intelligence?
वो हमारे ऊपर छोड़ दो.
Okay.
That questions, okay.
Yes sir.
उतना दे दो भाई, 40-50 साल के एक्सपीरियंस में पता लग जाता है, ठीक है ना.
Sir, I have a background, like I like quizzing. I am a quizzer, so.
You are?
Quizzer.
Oh, great.
So I'll write quizzing as my hobby. So can I expect a lot of factual question?
See, when this term of interpretation of factual questions is very wrong. You will always get questions which are of very generic nature first. But the next question will move into analytics. एक सिंपल क्वेश्चन पूछा है सो दैट यू डोंट गेट. सपोज हम शुरू में एनालिटिक्स पूछ लेंगे एंड यू कांट से, आपको कॉन्फिडेंस डाउन हो जाएगा ना. सो हम पहले ही डायरेक्ट फैक्चुअल क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे. वी विल अलाउ यू टू स्पीक ऑन दैट इशू, ओके, एंड देन वी विल मूव यू टू नेक्स्ट लेवल. अगर आप फैक्चुअल में मार खाओगे तो एनालिटिक क्या करोगे फिर. इट्स ए ग्रेजुअल प्रोसेस. So when he says कि factual questions, पहले factual question पूछते हैं, just to know your level of this thing. Many times we want to put you at ease also. Okay, we want to put at ease. Simple thing. आपको बोलेंगे यार जो G20 का जो मर्जी बता दो, आधे सेकंड के लिए बता दो बस. Okay, something, or you come from Bareilly, say for instance, अब थोड़ा बरेली के बारे में बताओ. अगर वो भी नहीं बोल पाओगे तो गए मुश्किल से ना. ठीक है, कहाँ का रहने वाले हो? दिल्ली वाला.
Yes sir.
हाँ, तो दिल्ली का जानकारी होना चाहिए हिस्टोरिकल प्लेसेस से. आई हैव आस्क्ड दिल्ली, टेल मी द 5 हिस्टोरिकल इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेसेस ऑफ दिल्ली. पीपल आस्क यू स्ट्रेट अवे. फिर आप ऐसे करोगे, कुतुब मीनार, ताजमहल. ताजमहल तो नहीं सर, नहीं सर, ताजमहल आगरा में है सर. सर सॉरी सर. क्योंकि आपको याद नहीं आया तो आपने गलती से ताजमहल बोल दिया उसको, ठीक है ना. कुतुब मीनार, फिर उसके बाद याद नहीं आता, फिर क्या बोलूँ. सो द मोमेंट यू आर इन दिल्ली, ये सिंपल क्वेश्चन, इंपॉर्टेंट, एनी प्लेस फॉर दैट मैटर, व्हाट इज दैट प्लेस फेमस फॉर, यू शुड नो thoroughly. If I am from Lucknow, I must know the history of Lucknow, not like history student, but as a general student. क्या होता है लखनऊ के, व्हाट इज इट, व्हाट आर दी, हर सिटी के अंदर 3-4 चीज़ होता है, अच्छी चीज़ें. तो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन कि भैया तुम लखनऊ का, अच्छा वहाँ पर क्या आपने भूल भुलैया में गए हो क्या, हैव यू गॉन टू भूल भुलैया. सर भूल भुलैया क्या होता है, फिर आपको और नहीं क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे. बट इफ यू आंसर भूल भुलैया प्रॉपरली, नाउ टेल मी, हैव यू सीन द पर्सन आर्किटेक्चर देयर. Okay, why is there so much a dominance of Persian architecture in things of in Lucknow? आपने वो भी दे दिया जवाब, अच्छी तरह से जवाब दे दिया. Then I take you to next level. Already we have made an impression कि this guy is totally aware of the local conditions जहाँ से आया है. ये नहीं, उसका background मालूम है, और he also got knowledge of history also. So definitely I do better than a candidate जो कि कुछ नहीं बताए, है ना. इट्स ए ग्रेजुअल प्रोसेस ऑफ लिफ्टिंग. बेटा बताओ, बिकॉज टेक लॉट ऑफ टाइम. बेटा हाँ, कीप टेलिंग, जस्ट स्पीक लाउडली.
So
sometimes people cannot convey their message in English even if they written in mains in English. So can they change their medium in interview or not?
वो पहले से बताना पड़ेगा कि that I am comfortable in Hindi, I may be permitted to speak in Hindi.
Okay.
That's permitted.
So one more question. So sometimes people afraid to wear religious symbols like hijab, raksha sutra, and
Sometimes.
Sometimes people afraid to wear religious symbol like hijab, raksha sutra, chandan, etc. Sir, तो ये क्या मतलब?
Avoid issues of which are very personalized in nature. You see, religion is a very personalized nature. Getting my point?
Okay, sir.
Okay, we all pursue religion as per our desires and liking. Okay, so some things which are to be exhibited in public, okay, which are not fitting onto the norms, pragmatism says then let's be avoid it. अगर मैं पूजा करना मुझे अच्छा लगता है, सुबह सुबह उठ के मैंने वो चंदन मारा यहाँ पर, एक वो मारा यहाँ पर, ठीक है ना, बट मैं उसको मैं चंदन न लगा कर ऑफिस जाऊँगा, ठीक है ना, इट इज़ नॉट हेल्पिंग अदर्स. मैंने चंदन किस लिए लगाया? इट इज़ फॉर माई ओन बेटरमेंट. Because there is a scientific reason why a chandan is put. Why a Muslim bows down early in the morning and touches the ground and the feet. There are all science behind it. Okay, so there's science we pursue for our own self-development. वो हमने सुबह कर दिया, that phase is over. We don't have to carry it in the public. मुझे माला करना अच्छा होता है, लगता है. ऐसे थोड़ी है कि मैं कल केव्स में जाऊँ वहाँ पर माला गिरना करूँ. KFC क्या होता है? KFC यार, चिकन खा रहे हो, KFC में फिर मैं माला देख के वो कर रहा हूँ, क्योंकि सर मुझे माला करना अच्छा होता है. Don't carry religion, which is a very personal nature, into the public domain, unless you are involved into that profession. Here you are trying to become a civil servant, where neutrality is very important. Getting my point?
Yes.
So burqa, surkha, this, that, which are, some people are doing it. Some countries do this as a matter of national policy. If they're done in national policy, it's a different issue. But I was telling you, I was posted in a country called Iran, and I spent 4 years there. हमको जब डिप्लोमेटिक असाइनमेंट में थे, तो वहाँ पर जब गए, उससे पहले हमको पूरा ब्रीफिंग दिया था कि आपको, मुझे तो नहीं, योर फैमिली, वाइफ एंड माई डॉटर, एवरीबडी हैज़ टू वेयर ए बुरखा. बोले यार बड़ा ज़बरदस्त है, क्या करेंगे? तो जब देखा कि पूछा कि नहीं बुरखा नहीं, बट आपको एक हेड हैज़ टू बी कवर्ड एंड यू गो टू पुट एन ए overcoat sort of a thing. But that was the rule. So I had no choice, much against my desires of my wife and my daughter. They had to wear that. Okay. फिर मैंने लोकल इरानियंस को पूछा, यार आप उसको पहनते हो? बोलता है ये कब जाएगा यहाँ से, we just want to, because they are not, at all with the, with what the regime wants. और if you go to the houses, किसी घर में पार्टी, सबसे पहले वो क्या करेंगे, वो बुरखा, वो जो है निकाल कर दूर फेंकेंगे, ठीक है ना, वो पता नहीं कहाँ से आ गया कर कर. And then the dress pattern is so Western, sometimes you also get little embarrassed, let me tell you, especially girls wearing dresses and all. So ये culture जो कभी कभी, there are covered cultures, and there are because of political reasons. None of these countries, let me tell you, in the hearts of hearts, no woman in the Muslim world actually desires to put in a burqa himself. Very few. Okay, but this is again personal. Getting my point? But many countries put it as a policy. You may get a question of this nature, ki, what is your opinion of wearing burqas and all? So you say ki, this is a personal choice. If a state makes a policy, it is debatable. But it's a personal choice. ठीक है? Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, भूख लग रहा है? Yes, very honest guy, person. Because बाकी क्लास में क्या होता है, संजना मैडम इतने बोलते हैं, कोई नहीं बोलेगा भूख लग रहा है कर कर. She passes a dictum. Thank you very much.